Welcome to Harwich. Today I'm Robert Marcello. I'm going to first start out my pregame show today, interviewing the scout liaison for the Hyannis Harwich, Stephen Mandelberg. How are you, David?
I'm great, Rob. How are you?
Good. So my first question I want to ask you is today about Jeremy Randolph. What do you really see from him?
What I see from him is a consistent pitch type. What I see every time, you know what to expect. You know it's never going to be a 12-run game. He always stays in the zone. He always stays in the game, and he's very competitive. And you got to appreciate that when you're out here day in and day out, showcasing yourself for scouts.
Absolutely. Could you name just maybe a couple players that really stand out for you so far this year?
Are we talking pitching or hitting, Rob? I mean,
both sides.
Both sides. All right, I'll start with the pitching. I mean, when I look at our staff, I really like seeing Gavin Hollowell. Gavin Hollowell, who pitched last night, would have had a top 5 spin rate on his fastball if he was in the MLB last night. It was topping out over 2,700, and that's just amazing to see. That the guy in charge of TrackMan, Jack, was talking about how that's the best spin rate he's seen all year so far, and that I think that really speaks to how Gavin pitches. In the bullpen, Dylan Thomas. I mean, he's been getting it done all year. He throws a fastball slider, and let me tell you, that fastball has a bite, and that slider has a ferocious bite to it, curving in and just really striking out hitters a lot, and you love to see that when you're scouting players. Hitters, I'm sure you guys have talked about Matthew Barefoot. The guy hits doubles. The guy just does it all, and you got to enjoy seeing that from a kid his age. Someone else I'll throw in there, Davis Wenzel, has a great eye, also hits for gap-to-gap power, and he makes solid contact, which is something that scouts really look for. They don't want those bloop singles. They want to see you pulling the barrel to the ball.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, David. Here, just quickly before we're going to go to break, we're going to play our sideline hit from Daniel Terzer just right before the game.
I'm here with Ryan Pepio. Ryan, yesterday we saw you pitch a solid 3 2/3 innings with 4 strikeouts, which brings your season total to 28 so far. That leads the pitchers in this league. How are you able to make the batters you face swing and miss?
I've just been able to trust myself and trust my stuff that I can be any hitter around this league. You know, if they're the best hitter in the league, I'm just going to attack them no matter what. And if they beat me sometimes, so be it.
Last time we spoke, you talked about wanting to be a more well-rounded pitcher. How have you made some progress with that so far?
Coach Corn and I have been working every day on all my off-speed pitches and being able to throw them for strikes and effective balls. So just working every single day to get better.
We also joked about how I may have jinxed you with having not given up an earned run in a while there. How are you superstitious in this game?
You definitely jinxed it. No, I'm just kidding. I try not to be superstitious, but it's baseball. There's always superstitions. I have my daily routines where I throw, stretch, and all that stuff where I do the same thing. But other than that, I try not to be too superstitious.
This is your first time out here in the Cape. What do you think so far of this experience, both on and off the field?
It's definitely a surreal experience, playing against the best guys in the country at our age. So that's a great experience. And then being out here in the Cape, I've never been out here. I've never been out this far east, so can't ask for a better place to spend my summer.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dani. The starting pitcher today for the Harbor Hawks is Jeremy Randolph. He is on the mound. Has pitched pretty good so far this season. But we will be right back right after this with our interview with our first half play-by-play man, Chris Lucey. And then after that, I'll give around the league scores. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Harwich. Once again, I'm Robert Marcello. I'm here now with the first half play-by-play man, Chris Lucey. How are you today, Chris?
Robert, I'm doing great, thanks. Beautiful day out here in Harwich. Game number 24 for the season on the Hyannis Hawks Digital Network coming up pretty soon, so definitely a lot to be excited about. Harwich always has a beautiful ballpark, so one of my favorite places to go on the Cape, and I mean, it's been a good series for Hyannis so far this year. They've won all 3 of their games against the Mariners, so Harbor Hawks looking to complete the sweep tonight.
Absolutely. One of the first things I want to talk about today is the starter for the Harbor Hawks, Jeremy Randolph. What do you expect to see out of him today?
Well, Jeremy Randolph is one of your classic, well, not your classic 3-pitch guy. He does have 3 pitches, but where you usually see fastball, curveball, changeup, he throws fastball, changeup, slider. So you usually see the slider as a 4th pitch, but Randolph is so confident with it that he actually throws it as his 3rd pitch. And he's really been outstanding this season for Hyannis, namely against the Harwich Mariners. In 6 2/3 against Harwich this campaign, he's only allowed 7 hits. He struck out 8, only surrendered 2 earned runs. So he's done a great job, Randolph, of just keeping these Harwich hitters off balance and then throwing that slider just off of his fastball, because they're pretty similar looking pitches, but then the slider just has a lot of very late horizontal movement that avoids barrels and really sets Randolph up for success.
Definitely does. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is really the Harbor Hawks just having a hard time really scoring runs, leading a lot of guys on base. Is that something you think that bugs them?
Oh, well, of course it bugs them. When you leave something on the table, that's just something that guys at this level of competition can't get out of their head. I mean, last night, Hyannis left 10 men on base, which is just unheard of to think you can still score 9 runs. And there are times this season where, like last night, leaving men on base hasn't cost Hyannis all that much, but it's not sustainable to imagine you can continue leaving runners on base and continue winning ball games. I mean, this Hyannis Ball Club right now is not at first place in the Western Division right now. 28 points, squaring them up with the Wareham Gatemen, but the Gatemen are amongst the most tough offensive teams on the Cape, if not the toughest offensive team on the Cape. So if Hyannis can't put up runs, they're really making it difficult, especially because they have to kind of pick up for the pitching staff that has left a little bit to be desired over the course of the season.
Absolutely. The last question I want to ask you, and then I'll quickly go around the league scores, and then after that, I'll give you the play-by-play after a break, is what are the keys for today?
Oh, the keys for today for Hyannis are just continuing to throw strikes on the mound. I mean, they have Randolph out there, so somebody who's thrown strikes. He's gotten roughed up a little bit, so at times he'll leave the ball up. Coach Korn has been working with him on keeping the ball down. So we'll see if he's able to do that today. That's a big key for Hyannis. And outside of that, just continuing to be confident. Leaving runners on base is one thing, but it says something that Hyannis is able to get so many men on base. They set the table beautifully, and eventually, you know, you have to get a bounce your way. And Hyannis was able to get enough bounces their way yesterday to win 9-5. They've jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the 4-game series with Harwich already on the campaign. So I think Hyannis just needs to continue being confident, throwing strikes, and playing solid fundamental baseball, because it's carried them pretty far, to say the least, this season.
Well, thank you, Chris. Now I'm just going to quickly go around the league. In the top of the 5th, currently Falmouth is beating YD 4-1. In the bottom of the 1st, just starting in Bourne, it's tied 0-0. Pre-game's currently happening in Wareham, and then obviously the pre-game here in Harwich. That's it for me here on the pre-game show. I'm Robert Marcello. I will now send it over to Chris Lucey and Lyle Goldstein on the call. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media. Magic Works Media copyright. 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 Magic. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Time for lineups and first pitch on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Game number 24 on the Cape Cod League season for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks comes from White House Field as Hyannis looks to jump out in front in the Western Division away from a two-way tie with the Wareham Gatemen against the Harwich Mariners and also complete a 4-0 series sweep in the season series alongside Lyle Goldstein. I'm Chris Lucey. And Lyle, it's an exciting day for the Harbor Hawks. They're back on top of the Western Division. They have a chance to take sole possession of the Western Division crown today, but there's also some reason to be in a bit of a state of mourning if you're amongst the Hyannis faithful, as one of the team's founders, Jack Almer, passed away earlier this morning at the age of 84. Jack Almer, former Massachusetts State Senator, a founding member of both the Harbor Hawks and the Bourne Braves. He passed away today at 84 years of age. And unfortunately, Lyle, I don't think either of us ever had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Almer, but his name is emblazoned on the field house where you and I, along with Robert Marcello, call all of the Harbor Hawks games. It's been my broadcast home, honestly, for the last 2 seasons as I was out on the Cape last year. And it's simple, Lyle. Without Mr. Almer, neither of us are here doing what we love. I mean, what does this opportunity that he's created for us mean to you?
I mean, it means the world. We're out here in the best summer league that you could imagine, calling baseball games every night, seeing some of the best talent from around the world at the collegiate level, and none of that would be possible without him. So he's created this opportunity for us, and while, like you said, we didn't ever get a chance to know him, I couldn't be more thankful.
Jack Almer, may you rest in peace. Flowers flowers are not requested by the family. You can make a donation on Jack's behalf to the Diabetes Society of Cape Cod to commemorate a life well lived, a merchant marine, a former state senator. Jack Almer, a founder and a titan in the Cape Cod Baseball League as well. And now we shift back towards game number 24 here from White House Field. Hyannis in an interdivisional matchup looking to clinch the series sweep against the Mariners, 4-0 on the campaign. Davis Wenzel leading things off for the Hyannis Ball Club. He will be going against Jack Dreyer out of Iowa, followed up by Braden Como out of Rice. In the 3 spot, Matt Barefoot from Campbell University. Pedro Pages from FAU, the catcher, in the 4 spot. In the 5 spot, Todd Lott from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Brady Lindsley in the 6 spot out of Oklahoma. Tommy Jew in the 7 spot from the University of California at Santa Barbara. Will Holland batting 8th from Auburn. And then in the 9 spot, Eric Rivera. Jack Dreyer to the set. The lefty kicks and deals. The pitch hacked on and sent foul down the first base line by the righty Wenzel at the plate. And we're underway from White House Field here in Harwich. Scoreless tie so far between the Mariners and the Harbor Hawks as Dreyer works from the windup. The pitch, high and outside. Working from the set, actually, is Dreyer, keeping the ball close to his chest. What are the season numbers on Dreyer, Lyle?
Well, he's got a 3.46 ERA. This will be his 3rd game started of the season.
And the next pitch, he says, is cut on and roped high in the air out towards center field. This one tracks Gorski back to the wall, and the center fielder makes the play for out number 1. 1 man up, 1 man down here in the top of the first. Still 0-0 between the Mariners and the Harbor Hawks.
And the numbers on Dreyer, aside from that, he's 0-1 on the season. This is his 2nd time facing the Harbor Hawks this year, where he went 4 1/3 innings, allowed 3 earned runs on 7 hits, 4 strikeouts. And that was probably his weakest outing of the season. Since then, he's given up just 2 runs in his last 8 2/3 innings, both of those coming against the first-place Whitey Red Sox.
Now Braden Como at the right side of the plate. The lefty deals a first pitch strike right in at the knees. Little breaking pitch right there. Como's hitting .352, 25 hits in 71 at-bats. Those 71 at-bats, 2nd on the Hyannis Ball Club as ball 1 comes high and outside, evening the count at a ball and a strike. Catching today for Dreyer is Mason Meadows out of Georgia. Dreyer working quickly again, 1-1 count on Braden Como. The pitch. Cut on and nibbled foul down towards Chad Gassman. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks manager, coaching 3rd base for the ball club today. Harbor Hawks wearing their road blues, orange sleeves, orange lettering across the chest, white pants completing the ensemble. Harwich, again, with their creamsicle white home jerseys, red stirrups, red hats, creamsicle white bills on the caps. The 1-2. Ball 2, low and inside. Another breaking pitch, just like the first strike, but a little bit off the plate. Bill Pompa making the calls from behind the dish. Bob Gardner is down the first base line. And over at third base right now, Bob Dwyer. That's your umpiring crew. And now the 2-2 pitch. Cut on and roped foul the other way. The right-handed hitting Como sending that one down the first base line. And the lefty Dwyer needs a new baseball. Over at first base, Andre Lipsius. At second, you have Dani Casales out of Maine. And at third, Aaron Shunk, the red-hot hitting infielder from Georgia. The 2-2. Breaking ball called strike 3. Como goes down looking out, number 2 recorded here in the top of the first. Still scoreless between the Harbor Hawks and the Mariners down here at White House Field in Harwich. Tanner Morris rounds out the infield at shortstop for the Mariners. And then in center field, you have Matt Gorski from Indiana, Chris Galland in right field from BC, and in left, Nate Eichhoff from UVA. Matt Barefoot at the right side of the plate now. The lefty deals. Ball 1 in the dirt. 1-0 now the count to Barefoot, leading this team in batting average with a scorching 373, knotted with Braden Como for the team lead in hits at 25. Now the 1-0 from Dwyer. Called strike over the outer half. 1-1 the count on what looked like a little bit of an off-speed offering. Dwyer playing his college ball at Iowa for the Hawkeyes. 1-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. 2-1 now the count.
And Dwyer trying to establish that slow curveball earlier. He got Braden Como with it. It looked like it took about a decade to come in.
Now it's 2-1. Cut on and roped foul towards the Harwich bullpen. Took a while to come into the plate, but didn't take long to get sent the other way. Barefoot pulling the ball. And he is a pull hitter, Lyle. We've seen that from him this season. He just feels as though with his swing, he has those big forearms. Now the 2-2. Cut on and blipped foul. That one down the first baseline. Count remains 2-2. I mean, with those big forearms of his, he feels like his strength is really out towards left center field. So whenever he gets a ball inside, he really turns on it. And he also is sure usually to get his hands out front to the baseball to meet it quickly. The 2-2. Cut on, and that one sent the other way out into right field. It's chasing Rivera in, and the right fielder watches it dunk in front of him for a base hit. That's actually Casals or Galland for BC coming in on that ball.
And Matthew Barefoot, he just always finds ways to get on base. He really does. You said it a minute ago. He was tied for Braden Como for the team lead in hits and just flips one the other way into short right field, dropping it inside the Bermuda Triangle. And Matthew Barefoot continuing to be a catalyst at the top third of the order for the Harbor Hawks.
Drops one right in front of Chris Galland out in right field, and with two men down, there's one aboard in the top of the first. Hyannis still trying to break a scoreless tie with the Mariners in an interdivisional matchup out here at White House Field. Jack Dwyer now squares up Pedro Pages out of Florida Atlantic. The Iowa product comes to the set, looks at Barefoot at first, and the pitch. Hacked on and sent foul behind home. 0-1 now the count. Pages, 242 batting average on the season in 19 games, 66 at-bats, 16 hits. He's also struck out 16 times. Dwyer to the set, infield around double play depth. 0-1. Hacked on and sent high and foul down the right field line. Gets out of play again. And Pedro Pages trying to fight off a 2-strike count. Pretty shady around where Pedro is in the batter's box right now. Shade kind of dipping onto the third base line and down the first base line as well. And the 0-2 cut on and grounded foul. Nice ranging play from Shunk. Comes into foul territory to scoop up the bouncing ball. Gives it back to Dwyer, who doesn't even ask for a new one until he comes off the mound and does so. Pitchers picky with their baseballs, using those beautiful new diamond baseballs that the league has mandated for the season. They used Rawlings last year, and Diamond now the sponsor of the baseballs. 0-2 count on Pages. 2 away. 1 man on here for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the first. Still scoreless in Harwich. The 0-2. Hacked on and missed. Another slow breaking ball, and Pedro Pages goes down swinging for the final out of the top of the first inning. So we see 4 batters, and on 1 hit, 1 man is left on base, and no runs are scored. Still knotted at 0 here from Harwich, as now we head to the bottom of the first inning. Chris Galland, Matt Gorski, and Aaron Shunk 2 up for the Harwich Mariners when we return on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. Don't go anywhere. This game is still scoreless as the Harborhawks look to complete a 4-game sweep of the Mariners on the 2018 campaign.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Let's do that then. Can you get us?
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Back at it here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network alongside Lyle Goldstein. I'm Chris Lucey. Still scoreless through 1/2 of an inning here from Harwich. Hyannis and the Mariners doing battle out here at White House Field, and out to the mound for the Harborhawks comes Jeremy Randolph, right-hander out of Wright State. And Lyle, he has been pretty good for the Harborhawks, especially against the Harwich Mariners on the campaign. What are the numbers on Randolph?
Well, Jeremy Randolph, just in general, he's been a strikeout machine, second on the team in punch-outs behind Ryan Pepio. But for the right-hander out of Wright State, specifically against these very Harwich Mariners, he has absolutely dealt in 2 appearances against them. Went 2 innings in his first outing against Harwich, no runs, then 4 2/3 innings in a start against Harwich and allowed no runs, both of those coming at home. But his numbers on the year, 16 innings pitched, a 3.37 ERA.
And he throws a first pitch strike swinging to Chris Galland. We're underway here in the bottom of the first. Matt Gorski to follow Galland out of Indiana. Aaron Shunk from Georgia in the 3 spot. Andre Lipsius from Tennessee in the 4 spot. The pitch from Randolph. Cut on and hit high in the air out towards right field. This one chases Rivera towards the line, and it dunks in right in front of him as Chris Galland turns around first base, but thinks better of it. Stops up. Relay throw in from Rivera to Braden Como, the second baseman. And the leadoff man is aboard for the Mariners in the bottom of the first inning. Still scoreless from White House Field. Going back to the batting order now, Dani Casales in the 5 spot. Tanner Morris in the 6 spot. Casales from Maine. Tanner Morris from UVA. Nate Eichhoff, another Cavalier in the 7 spot. Mason Meadows, another Bulldog from Georgia in the 8 spot. And Gabe Rivera rounds out the 9-man batting order out of Miami. And the pitch, hacked on, and the check swing gets away from Pedro Pages, but it looks like they might say Matt Gorski held up. Page is able to come out from behind home plate, corral the loose ball. Call is a ball. Bill Pompa making the final decision from behind home plate. 1-0 the count on Gorski. Runner on first base, Chris Galland. Randolph to the set. Peering over at the runner at first, and the pitch. High and tight fastball. 2-0 the count. And Randolph, not your prototypical 3-pitch guy. He has 3 pitches, but it's not your fastball, curveball, changeup. He has fastball, changeup, slider. And the slider comes at a very similar arm slot from that fastball. He throws it right off the fastball usually. Check throw back over to first. Chris Galland held on. Count remains 2-0, still scoreless from White House Field. 1 man aboard, nobody down in the bottom of the first inning from Harwich. The Mariners at 2nd place in the Eastern Division, trying to claw their way back to first. The 2-0. Fastball, high and tight, ball 3. Matt Gorski with a hitter's count. Ball player out of Indiana. 278 batting average and 54 at-bats on the Cape League campaign. 15 hits. 3-0. Ball 4. That's walk number 9 on the campaign for Gorski. He gets a free pass to first. Chris Galland moves up to second. And there's a runner in scoring position with nobody down here in the bottom of the first inning. Jeremy Randolph having to work himself through a little bit of adversity now.
Well, Randolph, only 4 walks on the year coming into that at bat and coming into the start for that matter. He's had pretty good control of the zone in every outing he's appeared in, but off to just a little bit of a rocky start due to a Texas League single and then a 4-pitch walk to the hitter in Gorski.
And now he faces Aaron Shunk, amongst the hottest hitters on Cape Cod. At the right-hand side of the plate, the righty looks back the runner at second and deals the first pitch. Called ball low and away. 1-0 the count. Little change up there from Randolph. Doesn't catch the eye of Bill Pompa. Wind blowing towards left field here at White House Field. Double play depth from the infield. Outfielders playing back. No doubles defense. The 1-0. Called a strike, a fastball. And Randolph gets himself back in the count, 1-1. And I mentioned Shunk being about as hot as can be. 41 at-bats on the season, a .390 batting average to lead this Mariners ball club. Randolph gives him a good long look from the mound, comes to the set, looks back Gallant at second, the pitch. Ball 2, low and away. Trying to move the slider over the outer half of the plate. And Shunk is not biting. 2-1 the count. 2 men on, nobody down. Bottom of the first inning. Scoreless tie from Harwich, but the Mariners are threatening against the Harbor Hawks. 2-step lead off the second for Gallant. And the 2-1. Cut on and roasted foul down the left field line. That one gets over the batting cages, just over the Harwich Mariners bullpen. 2-2 now the count. Randolph with a chance for a big get-me-over strikeout to finally clinch an out here in the bottom of the first inning and give him a little bit of breathing room with 2 men on. Plenty of light left to be had over the field here in Harwich. Floodlights haven't even started really coming on yet. Good high height to those floodlights, though. The 2-2. Check swing, and they get him. Aaron Shunk actually gives that a full hack, but tips it just off the end of the bat, and that is a strike 3, and there's 1 away here in the bottom of the first inning.
And you're going to see a lot of that from Randolph. He is an absolute punch-out machine. As we mentioned, comes into the day with 22 strikeouts on the season, second on the team, and he just gets his first one tonight on a good fastball right at the top of the zone to the hitter in Shunk.
Only 10 strikeouts and 42 at-bats on the campaign for Shunk, so not an easy strikeout. Andre Lipsy is at the plate now. Runners on first and second. Still scoreless from Harwich. The pitch. Ball 1 to the righty at the dish. The righty on the mound receives the ball back from Pedro Pages and gets back to work. Gallant got on second with a walk from Gorski. He singled to get on. Gorski, of course, with the walk to get himself over to first. Strikeout from Shunk, the first out of the inning. Now the 1-0. Called strike on the breaking ball. Nice little off-speed offering from Randolph. And the count even at a ball and a strike. Good crowd filing in here at White House Field. Stands on the left and right sides of the infield, packed with spectators. The 1-1. Check swing. And a strike call from Bill Pompa. 1-2 the count on Lipsius out of Tennessee. He's hitting .295 on the campaign, leads the Mariners in at-bats with 78 and hits with 23. But he's a pitch away from his 20th strikeout of the season. Randolph sets the 1-2. Here it comes. Cut on and barreled up right into the hole on the right side of the infield, through for a base hit. Chris Gallant stopped up at third base by Steve Englert, and that loads the bases with 1 down here in the bottom of the first inning. Andre Lipsius with a 1-out single moves Gallant to third, Gorski up to second, and the Mariners are in business. A scoreless tie hanging in the balance from White House Field.
Well, Randolph now 2 hits given up so far in this inning, and that was probably the first barreled up one we've really seen. The first hard hit ball from the Mariners today, as it was right out of the outstretched glove of Braden Como, but Rivera with a good beat on it to keep the runner in Gallant from scoring, and Gallant has some speed to his arsenal.
And now here's Casales out of Maine. He's the right side of the plate, and the righty deals a first pitch that is clubbed on and sent foul down the third base line. Peter Pascarosa actually coaching up the Mariners from that third base box. Mark Tebow on the opposite side of the infield coaching first base. Now Randolph to the set again. 0-1 the count on Casales and the pitch. Ball one, high in sight. Evens the count at a ball and a strike. Casales batting .215 and 65 at bats, 14 hits, 13 RBI, 13 walks. Leads this team, the Mariners, in runs batted in. 1-1 the count and the pitch. Check swing. And Bill Pompa rings him up. 1-2 now the count on Casales. Also struck out 15 times on the campaign. Trying to avoid number 16 and get a rally moving for the Harwich Mariners. Randolph taking his time on the mound. Bases juiced. One away. 1-2. Hacked on and missed. Strike three. Dani Casales swings all the way through that one. The off-speed offering from the Wright State right-hander brings Hyannis an out away from ending a bases-loaded threat in the bottom of the first inning.
We're probably going to be saying it all night, but that is his bread and butter right there for Jeremy Randolph. Strikeouts are his friend, and he blows another heater by this time the number 5 hitter and Dani Casales, his second one of the night.
Tanner Morris at the plate now, batting .317. He's at the left side against the righty. And the pitch. Hacked on, slipped foul down the third base line. 0-1 the count on today's shortstop out of Virginia. Tanner, a .317 hitter and 63 at-bats, 20 hits on the summer, 8 RBIs. Has a golden opportunity to rack up a few more. Bases loaded 2 away here in the bottom of the first. The pitch. Hacked on, that one roped foul down the left field line again. 0-2 now the count on Morse. He has to fight off a pitcher's count, to say the least, and try and break a scoreless tie here from Harwich. Randolph to the set. Runners on first, second, and third. 2 away. An 0-2 count. The pitch. High and outside on the fastball. Brings the count to 1-2. Tanner Morris, coached by some baseball royalty down in high school. Billy Wagner was the head coach of the Miller School, where he attended high school and played his high school baseball. The 1-2. Called ball, low and away. Bases loaded, 2 down. Jeremy Randolph a strike away from getting out of a major jam and maintaining a scoreless tie going into the top of the second. Lights have yet to come on here at White House Field. A beautiful day for baseball. Breeze now blowing out towards the outfield. Sun still bathing the right side of the field. The tree line down the left field line, obscuring most of it as the 2-2 is cut on and sliced out towards the gap in right center for a base hit. Chris Gallen comes around to score. Matt Gorski slides into third, or comes home and scores. Aaron Shunk moving over to second base, or Andre Lipsius moving over to second base, and the RBI single from Tanner Morris puts the Harwich Mariners out front 2-0 here in the bottom of the first inning.
Well, Harwich has already doubled their run total that they put up in the last 2 games against Hyannis with that one hit. Just another Texas leaguer. A decent piece from the hitter in Tanner Morris, but just out of the outstretched glove of Will Holland out there, and 2 runs were able to come on and score. Randolph into a little bit of a jam.
Nate Eichhoff at the left side of the plate now. The righty deals ball 1, low and away. Runners on first and second now, 2 away. An RBI single, a 2 RBI single from Tanner Morris, who stands on first, putting Harwich out front 2-0 from White House Field. Randolph to the set, the 1-0. High and tight, ball 2. Eichhoff, another Cavalier, as I mentioned, playing his ball down at Virginia, batting .153 on the summer, 59 at bats, 9 hits. So trying to get himself into a bit of a groove. He has a pitcher who's a bit flustered right now on the mound in Randolph. He's just given up the first 2 runs of the game. And his Harbor Hawks trail 2-0. 2-0 count now on Eichhoff. He loops his bat through the zone from the left side of the plate, and the righty deals. Ball 3, low and inside. Just a second ago, Randolph was a strike away from ending a bases-loaded threat, and now he's a ball away from another one. 2 down here in the bottom of the first, but 2 runs across for Harwich, and the Mariners looking to pile on a couple more. 3-0. Ball 4. Call that one a walk. Nate Eichhoff moving over to first. Tanner Morris up to second. Andre Lipsius all the way around to third. And now Ray Korn coming out to the mound to have a word with his right-hander.
Well, this is really uncharacteristic of Jeremy Randolph, to say the least. He's got 2 walks in the inning. That ties his total for for 2 of the last 3 starts he's put together, we should say, as he had 2 walks against the Harwich Mariners back on June the 25th and 2 walks against the Whitecaps in his second start of the summer. And his other 2, he didn't walk anybody in 2 innings and 5 innings. So Jeremy Randolph, usually a guy who pounds his zone pretty well, has good control of his pitches, but just off to a little bit of a rocky start tonight, not on the same page as his catcher and Pages. And then really his balls have been all over the place, all over the strike zone, left, right, up, down, you name it.
Well, Coach Korn, as he now leaves the mound, you can expect that the message he had for Randolph was just to finish your pitches, and you could see it all inning. Randolph was leaving the ball up. That's a problem that Randolph has had in the first inning of games as he tries to get used to the new mound. And now Mason Meadows, the catcher today, coming up to the right side of the plate. He plays his college ball at Georgia. Bases loaded. 2 runs already across for the Mariners. None for the Harbor Hawks. The pitch. Bouncer. Pedro Pages keeps in front of it. 1-0 the count. Bill Pompa hands him a fresh baseball. And then he throws it back out to Randolph. Meadows getting ready again. Randolph coming to the set quickly. He deals. A pitch that is cut on and sent high in the air out towards right field. Fighting the summer sun is Eric Rivera, who charges in and makes the play on the run for the final out of an adventurous inning for Jeremy Randolph. On a trio of hits and a pair of walks, 2 runs come in for the Harwich Mariners. 3 men are left on base, and we now head to the top of the second inning. Todd Lott, Brady Lindsley, and Tommy Jew due up to try and dig Hyannis out of a 2-0 hole here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network when we get back.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network alongside Lyle Goldstein. I'm Chris Lucey. Todd Lott, Brady Lindsley, Tommy Jew due up for another go-around against Jack Dreyer. The pitch. Call it a strike over the outer half. 0-1 the count on Todd Lott, who stands at the right side of the plate against the lefty out of Iowa. 2-0 Harwich lead here at the top of the second inning. Dreyer working quickly, the 0-1. Ball 1. Looping breaking ball misses the plate. And the count's 1-1. Todd Lott leading this team with 5 home runs, batting .313 and 64 at-bats with 20 hits. As the 1-1 is seared foul. That one getting down the right field line and out of play. Todd, the man you want up when you're in a little bit of a hole. Harwich leading 2-0 here with nobody down in the top of the second. The 1-2. Hacked on and missed. Strike 3. Todd Lott leading the Harbor Hawks in home runs, also leading them in strikeouts. That's number 22 on the campaign, and there's one away. Brady Lindsley at the plate now, playing first base today. Everyday catcher for Oklahoma, but it's been playing both catching and first base on the campaign. 13 games, 41 at-bats, 195 batting average, 8 hits. Has his whole family in attendance this week, though. And the first pitch from Dreyer. Called a strike over the heart of the plate. The lefty ahead of the lefty at the plate, 0-1. Middle infielders playing on the lip of the outfield grass. Corner infielders pretty much straight away, likewise from the outfield. And the 0-1 is cut on and grounded over to short. Morris, gloves forehand side, throws across the diamond and gets Brady Lindsley for out number 2. That put out a 6-3 for your scorebook. Tommy Jew now coming to the plate for Hyannis. Tommy batting .200 on the season, 30 at-bats in 12 games. He's got 6 hits and 2 RBIs. Nobody on, 2 down for Hyannis, down 2-0 against the Harwich Mariners, trying to claw their way back from a laborious first inning. And the pitch, hacked on and missed. Dreyer doing a great job keeping the Harbor Hawks off balance. Only faced 4 batters in the first. Gave up a 2-out single and immediately responded with a strikeout to Pedro Pages. Now the 0-1. High and outside, ball 1. And that's a good sign for Dreyer as he gave up 3 earned runs and only 4 1/3 innings of work against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks in his debut, the 1-1. Hacked on, and that one is grounded right over to second base. Casales picks it up, glove side, throws across, and the Harbor Hawks go down 1-2-3 in the top of the second. Hyannis still trails by 2 runs, but now we go to the Mariners half of the second inning. Gabe Rivera, Chris Galland, and Matt Gorski 2 up when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network as Hyannis looks to keep this within 2 runs.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back at it here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. He's Lyle Goldstein. I'm Chris Lucey. 9-1-2 hitters 2 up for the Mariners against Jeremy Randolph. Harwich will get their second look at the right-hander out of Wright State after Gabe Rivera gets his first. The Miami Hurricane at the right side of the plate. And Randolph to the set. The pitch. Hacked on and nipped just off the inner half of the right foot of Pedro Pages behind home plate for strike 1. The backstop out of FAU. Springs up, tries to shake it off. Does about as good a job as he can. Readjusts his catching gear behind home. And gets back to work. 0-1 the count now to Rivera. Hyannis down 2-0 here in Harwich. Tough first inning for Jeremy Randolph. He's had some tough first innings on the campaign, and this one no different. The 0-1. Hacked on and fouled again off of Pedro Pages, coming over towards us in the broadcast booth. Look out. We're okay, though. Gabe Rivera has to fight off a pitcher's count, though. 0-2. Jeremy Randolph ahead. It was a tough first inning for Randolph, as we mentioned. 3 hits and a pair of walks. Loaded up the bases twice. The 0-2. Hacked on and sent foul behind home. Count remains 0-2. And you have Gabe Rivera at the plate right now, known as El Toro by his manager, Steve Englert, who's a character, to say the least. El Toro batting at .224 on the campaign and 49 at-bats. And the 0-2. Hacked on and missed, strike 3. Pedro Pages drops the ball, but picks it up, throws down the first base line as Gabe Rivera tries to beat it out. But that's a strikeout for Jeremy Randolph, 2-3 putout. And there's one away here in the bottom of the second.
Now strikeout number 3 for Randolph. Got the hitter in Rivera with a breaking ball out in front of the plate, and he chased it some good bite to it right at the end. And then, like you mentioned, Pages completing the strikeout.
25 strikeouts now on the season for Randolph, edging his way closer to the team lead as he throws a first pitch ball to Chris Gallen high and away. The right fielder out of Boston College, 1-for-1 on the day with a single. Got a hit and 2 walks in his last game against Hyannis. Now the 1-0. Hacked on and clipped foul. That one getting off his front foot. He has to step out of the batter's box and adjust. Looks down at Peter Pascarosa for a sign. Doesn't get one, just trying to buy himself a little bit of time. Infield, outfield, straight away. 2-0 to score. Harwich on top of Hyannis here in the bottom of the second inning from White House Field. Thank you for spending part of your evening with us. And the 1-1 is ball 2 low and away. That one getting in the dirt. So Jeremy Randolph always kind of takes a little bit of time to get into the swing of things. The 2-1. Call it a strike. Count 2-2 on the inner half breaking pitch. One away here in the bottom of the second. He's had a history of rough innings, and Ray Korn just says the key to that is he just needs to keep his pitches down early on. The 2-2. Called strike 3 on the fastball. 2 up, 2 down in the bottom of the second. And after a rocky first inning, Randolph is cruising his way through the order, and Matt Gorski coming up to the plate.
That's often just a trend with power pitchers. It takes them a little bit to get things loose and get things going. And that's often when an offense, especially one like Harwich, who comes into the day just 5th in hits, 6th in average, you got to jump on pitchers early, and they did a good job of that with Randolph in the first.
And the first pitch to Gorski is a strike, another breaking ball. Looking like a little bit of a slider there on the inner half of the plate. 0-1 the count. Big Ten matchup, or the 0-1. Hacked on and missed. Count now 0-2. Not quite a Big Ten matchup. Jack Dreyer, though, the pitcher for the Harwich Mariners, the man out of the Big Ten. Randolph playing his college ball for Wright State. He comes to the set in the 0-2. Hacked on and missed, strike 3. So a 1-2-3 inning for the Horizon League product. And Hyannis maintains only a 2-run deficit as now we head to the top of the third inning. Will Holland, Eric Rivera, and Davis Wenzel 2 up for Hyannis. The bottom and top of the order trying to chip away at a 2-0 Mariners edge. When we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, do not go anywhere.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Chris Lucey.
Hyannis down 2-0 here from White House Field. Going into the top of the third inning now. Will Holland, Eric Rivera, and Davis Wenzel due up for Hyannis, trying to chip away at the Mariners' edge and maintain their chance to pull off the season series sweep against the Harwich Mariners. They have a 3-0 lead in that series right now. And now Will Holland to the right side of the plate against the lefty Jack Dreyer. The pitch. Cut on and roped right back up the middle through for a base hit. The speedster out of Auburn cruises his way over to first base, takes a long turn around the bag, but stops in as Gallen relays the ball to Casales, and the second baseman throws the ball back to Dreyer. 1 up, 1 on here in the top of the third inning. The Auburn Tiger with his now third hit of the campaign brings up Eric Rivera out of Florida Atlantic University. Member of a very efficient Harbor Hawks ball club. Eric Rivera, when you look at the advanced metrics, really blows you away. He stands at the right side of the plate with a runner on first, and the pitch. Called a strike. Breaking ball right there from Dreyer. 0-1 the count. Rivera's kind of conventional numbers don't wow you. 196 batting average and 46 at-bats, 9 hits. The pitch. Hits Rivera right on the hip. He has to walk that one off. And he stumbles out of the bag as he tries to just walk it off down the first base line. Bobby Melly, the first base coach for Hyannis, making his way over to the first base bag just so he can receive Rivera as he gets over there. Will Holland moves his way over to second base for free on the hit by pitch for Rivera. And there's 2 aboard with nobody down here in the top of the third. The lineup turning over for the Harbor Hawks. It's Davis Wenzel coming to the plate. And just to finish my thought on Rivera, he's one of 2 players on this Harbor Hawks ball club with walk to K ratios of 1. So, of course, that means he gets as many strikeouts, as many walks as he does strikeouts. And appropriately enough, the only other player on the Harbor Hawks who can say the same stands at the right-hand side of the plate right now in Davis Wenzel. Runners on first and second. Hyannis trying to chip away at a 2-0 deficit here at White House Field. Dreyer to the set. Looks back. The runner is second and deals. Breaking ball for a strike. 0-1 the count. Big 10 versus Big 12 out there right now. Dreyer out of Iowa. And then Davis Wenzel out of Baylor. So it's a big one. Wordplay aside. It's a tough situation for the Mariners. The 0-1. Iron outside, ball 1. It's a 2-0 lead for Harwich, but runners on first and second with Davis Wenzel at the plate is not a comfortable place to be. Davis batting .250 on the campaign, leads the Harbor Hawks with 76 at-bats and 17 walks. He's 0 for 1 today, though. The pitch, hacked on and sent high and foul behind home plate. Gets out of play in a hurry. And a couple of fans go chasing after that one. Count 1-2. Middle infielders playing towards that second base bag, looking for anything on the ground. Nobody's holding on Will Holland, despite the fact that he was a base-stealing threat at Auburn this year. Had 118 total bags for the Tigers this year, as the 1-2 is cut on and nicked just foul down the first base line off the end of Davis Wenzel's bat. Wenzel, one of the more disciplined players on the Harbor Hawks, as I mentioned earlier, trying to fight to stay alive. Anything close, he says, on a 2-strike count, he's going to offer at. As now he looks down the barrel of a 1-2. The pitch from Dreyer. Cut on and sent high in the air out towards right field. This one chases Galland back over towards the wall. Tagging up from second and sliding into third. Below the tag is Will Holland, coming over to second base and stopping up there, Eric Rivera. So Davis Wenzel, with his second flyout of the game, gets the job done, advances both runners. And now there's runners on second and third. Nobody down still in the top of the third inning, or now one down, I should say. Braden Como coming to the plate. Braden, another dangerous one for the Harbor Hawks right now. He struck out looking in the first, but 25 hits on the campaign, second only to Matt Barefoot on the Hyannis Ball Club. He's at the right side of the plate. The lefty deals high and outside, ball 1. Still plenty of sunlight to be had here in Harwich, but there's some pretty high lights over this field, so no chance for any kind of action with the lights, as we've seen throughout the season, as the 1-0 is called ball 2, high and outside. Games in Katuitt and in Yarmouth Dennis, where there are no lights, have come in danger of actually being too dark to be played, and the game in Yarmouth Dennis actually called because of darkness. That one ended in a tie, the 2-0. High and outside, ball 3. Braden Como working his way into a hitter's count. Another ball away from walk number 5 on the campaign. He's also knocked in 8 runs on the season as well, and looks to break into a 2-0 Harbor Hawks deficit as the 3-0 comes high and outside for ball 4. Free pass for the second baseman out of Rice brings Matt Barefoot back to the plate. He's got the only hit of the evening for the Harbor Hawks. Had a single in the first. Actually, it was only the first hit of the evening, as Will Holland reached with a single in this inning. He stands on third base now. Braden Como over on first. Bases loaded. Only one down here in the top of the third inning. Barefoot at the plate. The pitch. Ball 1, high and outside. Barefoot, as I mentioned, a pull hitter. Coming from the right side of the plate, but still nobody really paying all that much attention to the gap out in left center. 1-0. High and outside, 2-0. Barefoot's just felt as though his power has always been to that left center field gap, as now the pitching coach comes out for the Harwich Mariners. Trying to have a word with Dreyer. He's in a tough situation right now with a 2-0 lead on the line. Dreyer has loaded up the bases with the Harbor Hawks' most dangerous hitter at the plate. Now Will Holland comes off at third base during the mound conference to have a word with Coach Gassman and Matt Barefoot, who have all grouped up down that third base line. Holland likely sharing a little bit of intel. The Auburn shortstop started this inning off with a single, and then after that, Eric Rivera was hit by a pitch. A sacrifice fly from Davis Wenzel moved them both over, and then the walk from Como just loaded the bases. Matt Barefoot ahead early in the count as well with a 2-0 mark right now against Jack Dreyer. The left fielder out of Campbell looking for his second hit of the day and to break into a 2-0 Harbor Hawks deficit here at White House Field. Hyannis trying to pull off the season sweep against the Harwich Mariners. They've won 3 of the 3 games they've played so far, as the 2-0 comes high and outside for ball 3. Jack Dreyer falling off towards third base on that last pitch. Starting to lose command of his mechanics. Needs a strike now. The 3-0. Gets a strike. Fastball over the outer half of the plate. Barefoot with the hold on all the way. That gap out in left center field still looking appetizing to Matt Barefoot. The 3-1. Hacked on and sent foul behind home. Thought he got one to pull, but he sent it back. And now the count is 3-2. So Barefoot has to fight to stay alive. Bases loaded and 1 out here in the top of the third inning. Hyannis looking to break some offense across the plate. Now the 3-2. High and outside, ball 4. So there's a little bit of offense for you. Will Holland comes in to score off the free pass to Matt Barefoot, and Hyannis finally gets a run on the board. Top of the third inning with 1 man down. It is now 2-1 Harwich. Pedro Page is now up to the plate. Same situation, but now a little bit more narrow of a Harwich lead. They only have a run on the Harbor Hawks now. Page is 0 for 1 today with a swinging strikeout in the top of the first inning. He actually ended that frame with that strikeout. "90 feet away from Pages is Eric Rivera down on third base. Dreyer comes to the set and exhales. The first pitch. Called a strike. High and outside. Little fastball right there. 0-1 the count. Rivera and Pages have known each other pretty much their entire lives. They played travel baseball together, and we're always on the same team growing up, they tell me. The 0-1. Hacked on and sent high in the air out towards the right center field gap. This one chasing Gorski and Eichhoff back to the wall. It bounces off of Gorski's glove out in center field, and now Eric Rivera comes in to score, sliding into third base. Braden Como and Matt Barefoot advancing over to second, and Pedro Pages with the knock out to deep center field ties this game up at 2 runs apiece in the top of the third inning. It looks like that'll be a reach on an error for Pedro Pages as the ball just got off of Gorski's glove. The center fielder losing it in the sun as Harwich loses the lead. It's now 2-2. Braden Como advancing to second or to third, Barefoot to second. And now Todd Lott to the plate. He's at the right side and the lefty deals. A pitch that's cut on and just nicked foul off the chest protector of Meadows behind home plate. 0-1 the count. Todd Lott 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. Todd will be looking down the left field line or down the right field line to try and extend this lead. Where Barefoot goes to the pull side, as I mentioned, Todd Lott goes to the opposite field, where his dad always has told him his power lies. And he feels it too. 0-1 count on him, though. Bases loaded. The pitch. Breaking ball for ball 1. That one just missing low and away. 1-1 the count. That opposite field swing really playing well to McKeon Park, where he leads this ball club with 5 home runs on the season. The 1-1. Hacked on that one, grounded over to second base, bobbled by the second baseman Casales, who can only get a runner out at second. Another run coming in to score. Hyannis now with a 3-2 lead here in the top of the third inning, 2 away. But Todd Lott getting the job done. Hyannis out front from White House Field. Call that a fielder's choice for Todd Lott. Pedro Pages tagged out over at second. Matt Barefoot moving over to third. Brady Lindsley up to the plate now. 0 for 1 today. Grounded out to short in his first plate appearance. He's at the left side against Dreyer, who's just surrendered the lead. The pitch. Hacked on and flipped foul down the third base line. 0-1 now the count. Brady Lindsley behind in the count 0-1. Jack Dreyer just put the Mariners behind 3-2 of the Harbor Hawks. The 0-1. Breaking ball for a looping strike, and Todd Lott is caught in a rundown between first and second. Tried to go on the pitch, and he is tagged out between first and second by Andre Lipsius after he gets the throw from the second baseman Casales. And strange way to end an inning, but that is how it goes. However, Hyannis gets the job done on a pair of hits or a pair of walks. 1 hit, a hit by pitch. The Harbor Hawks plate 3 runs and jump ahead 3-2 over the Harwich Mariners here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Bottom of the third coming up here on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network. 2 up for the Harwich Mariners, the heart of their order. Aaron Shunk, Andre Lipsius, and Dani Casales, the 3, 4, 5 hitters for this Mariners ball club, coming up to try and reclaim the lead. Hyannis taking it away in this frame. It's now 3-2 Harbor Hawks, and we'll have more baseball to come when we get back, so don't go anywhere.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Chris Lucey.
Aaron Shunk, Andre Lipsius, and Dani Casales 2 up for the Harwich Mariners here in the bottom of the third inning. Randolph, out for his third inning of work, now with a lead to work with. It's 3-2 Harbor Hawks after a rough inning, plated 2 runs in the first inning for Harwich. Hyannis battled back with 3 in the top half of the third, and now Randolph can get himself settled in. Aaron Shunk at the plate, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. The righty deals to a righty, and the pitch is golfed foul behind home. 0-1 now the count on Shunk, who's really come alive on the Cape League season since his first game of the campaign against the Harbor Hawks. Last time the Harbor Hawks were here, it was a 2-1 victory for Hyannis. Aaron Shunk made his debut, went 1 for 4 that night. Yeah, 1. Hacked on and sent high in the night sky out towards right center field. This one is chasing Tommy Jew in, and the center fielder gloves it in the gap out in right center field for out number 1. The Gaucho from UCSB cruising to get to that ball, losing the hat as he came into the gap and makes the play. 1 away here in the bottom of the third inning. Andre Lipsius at the plate now for the Mariners. 1 away here in the bottom of the third. Hyannis out front 3-2. Lipsius takes the first pitch strike. The Tennessee first baseman, 1 for 1 on the day. Had a single in the first inning. Randolph to the set. The pitch. Hacked on and missed. Strike 2. And now the strikeout happy product from Wright State is a strike away from yet another K. And the next pitch, hacked on and missed. Strike 3. Going to be a 2-3 putout for Pages as he drops strike 3, but then the ball on the throw gets away from Brady Lindsley down the first base line, and Andre Lipsius is off to the races. He rounds second. He's cruising to third. The throw has yet to come in, and Lipsius gets into third base, standing up on what should have been a strikeout. What a costly mistake for the Harbor Hawks, and Jeremy Randolph, you have to imagine, is reeling after that. Gets a strikeout for what seems to be out number 2. To have 2 up, 2 down here in the bottom of the third, but then the throw sailing off the hand of Pages, getting way down the right field line, and Brady Lindsley had to chase it all the way before Andre Lipsius could come around to score. They stopped him up at third, and now Casal is up to the plate. He's 0 for 1. The pitch. Called a strike over the outer half. Randolph bearing down from the mound. Runner 90 feet away from tying this game off the dropped third strike and the error from Pedro Pages. 1. Hacked on and missed. Strike 2. Breaking offering over the outer half of the plate. What's Randolph way ahead? Not often you see a strikeout turn into a triple de facto. It'll still count as an out for Lipsius, though. 0-2. Called strike 3. Another nasty breaking pitch from Randolph. And that slider is the second out of the inning there, and no taking that away from the righty out of Wright State. Call that a looking strikeout, and Pedro Pages framing it up nicely over the outer half. So the lead hangs in the balance for Hyannis right now. It's 3-2 Harbor Hawks, but the tying run stands 90 feet away at third base. And Tanner Morris up to the plate, and he swings at the first pitch he sees, grounds it foul down the first base line. The shortstop out of UVA, 1 for 1 on the day with a 2 RBI single in the bottom of the first. Plated both of Harwich's runs, but now the Mariners trail 3-2 after a productive top half of the third inning for Hyannis. 1. Hacked on, clipped foul behind home. 0-1 the count. 0-2 now the count, excuse me. And Morris, I mentioned, an alumnus of the Miller School, close to where he grew up in Crozet, Virginia, where he was coached by Billy Wagner of Astros and Mets fame, the former closer. Now the 0-2. High and outside for ball 1. Runner on third base is Andre Lipsius. Got there with a drop third strike and advanced all the way to third on an errant throw from Pedro Pages. Morris at the left side of the plate. The righty Randolph to the set. The pitch. Hacked on. That one grounded back up the middle, past the diving shortstop in Holland, and through for a base hit. This game tied again. Andre Lipsius in to score. And Tanner Morris, with his second RBI hit of the night, ties this game at 3 here with 2 down in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And that base hit never should have happened. Andre Lipsius, who came in to score, scoring off of a dropped 3rd strike and then some nifty base running. He made his way all the way around to 3rd on the errant throw from Pages. And now brings up Nate Eichhoff. The 6th and 7th spots in this Mariners order, occupied both by Virginia Cavaliers. The pitch. Swing and strike at the first one. A little off-speed offering from Randolph. And the count's 0-1. Eichhoff's at the left side of the plate. Randolph a righty. Runner on first, Tanner Morris, another Cavalier. 3-3 ball game now. Check throw back over to first. Tanner Morris slides in safely. Randolph receives the throw back from Brady Lindsley. Today's first baseman, holding on the runner out of Charlottesville, Virginia. Now the 0-1. Called a strike over the inner half with a nice little fastball. 0-2 now the count. And Randolph a strike away from ending what's been a disappointing inning for the Harbor Hawks. They came into it with the lead, and at the very least, they'll come out only with a tie, 3-3. Randolph to the set. The pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. Nate Eichhoff has a word with Pedro Pages as he loops the ball back over towards the mound. Only a quick exchange as Pedro Pages was on his way back to the Harbor Hawks dugout. And the side is retired here in the bottom of the 3rd, but not before this thing gets tied up again. On only 1 hit and a dropped strikeout, the Mariners tie this game at 3, now heading to the top of the 4th inning. Brady Lindsley, Tommy Chu, and Will Holland due up to try and reclaim the lead for Hyannis when we get back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network, but do not go anywhere. Lyle Goldstein will rejoin me on the broadcast, and we'll take a quick look around the league as well in just a few moments on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome back here to Harwich. As I'm Rob Marcello giving you an around the league update. Currently in the top of the 5th, the Falmouth Commodores are beating the YD Red Sox 4-1. Also around the league, we have a couple of other games going on. Here in the bottom of the 5th, Catuit is up 3-1. In the bottom of the 4th, Wareham is up 1-0. And then here in Hyannis tied 3-3. And then also the other game that started at 7 o'clock on the top of the 3rd, Orleans is up 1-0. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Robert. Knotted up at 3 here going into the top of the 4th inning. Brady Lindsley, Tommy Jew, and Will Holland due up for another round against Jack Dreyer out of Iowa. Lindsley at the left side of the plate. The lefty kicks and fires. First pitch, strike on the breaking ball. 0-1 now the count. Lyle Goldstein jumps back into the booth with me now. Howdy, Lyle. The 0-1. Hacked on and missed for strike 2. So, Lyle, a good amount has happened since you were last in the booth. Hyannis took the lead and then lost it once again after a productive top of the 3rd and then a regrettable bottom half of the inning. The 0-2. High breaking pitch for ball 1. Brady Lindsley staying in the count. He's playing in front of a hometown crowd, oddly enough. The 1-2. Breaking ball just missing in for ball 2. Brady's entire family up on the Cape this week, including his younger brother Tanner Lindsley, a catching commit to Oral Roberts. The 2-2. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. First out of the inning for Dreyer here in the top of the fourth goes by way of the K. Brady Lindsley down 0 for 2 on the day. And now Tommy Jew steps to the plate looking for his first hit. This game still knotted at 3 from White House Field. The Mariners able to get one on the board in the bottom of the third inning after a dropped third strike proved costly for the Harbor Hawks. That runner came all the way to third base and then came to score on a RBI single from Tanner Morris. The pitch, hacked on and missed by Tommy Jew at the right side of the plate. The lefty out of Iowa ahead in the count 0-1. Lights slowly coming on here at White House Field. The 0-1. Hacked on and roped the other way. This one getting down towards the right field line. Tommy Jew knows it's foul, though. Doesn't even run out of the batter's box. And the count is 0-2. So not too many spots of the field still have sunlight on them, only around the fringes of the right center field gap. Tommy Jew back at the right side of the plate. And the 0-2 from Dreyer. Cut on and just nibbled foul behind home. Count remains 0-2 on Tommy Jew. Looks down at Coach Gassman down the third base line, getting the signal. And the 0-2. Hacked on and missed, strike 3. 2 men up and 2 men down, swinging for Hyannis here in the top of the fourth inning. Will Holland now coming to the batter's box for Hyannis. He's 1 for 1 today with a single.
This has really just been a game of strikeouts so far. 8 for Randolph and 5 for Dreyer, so 13 total on the night, and we're only in the top of the fourth inning.
Randolph, again, a strikeout-heavy pitcher, just with the stuff that he has and also the fastball, too. But Dreyer countering as well. A 3-3 deadlock here from White House Field. And the pitch. Swung on and missed at that breaking ball over the outer half of the plate. Will Holland, again, 1 for 1 on the day, but now down 0-1 in the count. Now the 0-1. Call it a strike again. That one over the outer half of the plate. Another little break to it. Will Holland will have to fight to stay in this count. 0-2, 2 down, nobody on base. Infield, outfield, straight away, and the pitch. Breaking ball, swinging strike 3. Will Holland completely fooled by the breaking pitch from Dreyer, and the side is retired. 1, 2, 3, 3 swinging strikeouts for the Harwich Mariners in the top of the fourth. Brings Hyannis now to the bottom half of the inning, trying to defend a 3-3 tie. Mason Meadows, Gabe Rivera, and Chris Gallen, the bottom and top of the order for the Mariners, due up when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Chris Lucey and Lyle Goldstein.
We're back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network alongside Lyle Goldstein. I'm Chris Lucey. Randolph back on the mound for the Harbor Hawks, and he deals ball 1 low and away to Mason Meadows. Catcher out of Georgia, 0 for 1 on the day. Flew out to right field in his first ups. This game knotted at 3 here from White House Field in Harwich, and the 1-0. Fastball for a strike. 1-1 the count. Meadows, one of 2 Bulldogs on this Mariners side. In the 3 spot, Aaron Shunk, also from Georgia. As the 1-1 is just a bit inside and off the plate. 2-1 the count. Infield, outfield straight away. The 2-1. Cut on and grounded foul just past Peter Pascarosa in the third base coaching box. The Harwich Mariners coach just watches the ball whip by, and the lights continue to slowly come on here in Harwich. Just flickering to life as the sun slowly dies out over a beautiful White House field. Site of the 2018 Cape League All-Star Game. Randolph taking his time, though, comes to the set now. The righty out of Wright State deals. Ball 3 in the dirt. Full count now on Meadows. Stands at the right side of the plate. Member of the 2018 all-freshman team in the SEC was Meadows. A 3-2. Called strike 3. And Jeremy Randolph with his 9th strikeout of the game starts the bottom of the 4th off with a looking K to bring up Gabe Rivera. Wow, Randolph has just been nothing short of lethal since that first inning. What's allowed him to settle in?
I think just that he started to command the zone and mix up his pitches pretty well. He got the hitter in Meadows on a curveball there, really just froze him right in his tracks. And Randolph, like we said, Harwich got to him early, but often with these power pitchers and big strikeout guys, once they settle down, they're pretty good.
Gabe Rivera takes ball 1 low and away. The Hurricane standing in the right-hand side of the plate. Randolph out of Wright State to the set. The pitch. Hacked on and just nicked off the home plate umpire, Bill Pompa. Pedro Pages gets a fresh pearl from him. They exchange a few words. Probably a little bit of apologetics from Pedro Pages, as kind of in the unwritten contract of baseball that catchers take care of the umpires. That one just getting away from the Harbor Hawks backstop, the 1-1. Bouncer in the dirt, gets away from Pages again, and again knocks Bill Pompa. Both the backstop and the home plate umpire come out from behind home, and Bill Pompa with a big smile on his face, giving Pedro Pages a little bit of you know what. Good to see that they're amicable, though. 2-1 count. Randolph going to work on Gabe Rivera. The 2-1. Call it a strike. Breaking ball darts across the outer half of the plate. 2-2 the count. Good to see Bill Pompa not taking any strikes as payback for getting knocked by a couple pitches. Everyone in good spirits. A 3-3 ball game out here at White House Field. The 2-2. Check swing. They look down the first base line, and Bob Gardner calls the hitter safe. Gabe Rivera stays alive. Count now advances to 3-2. One away here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Mason Meadows down with a looking strikeout to start things off. A 3-3 tie. 3-2. Cut on that one. Grounded, and actually a liner right back to the pitcher in Randolph, who snares it on the fly. A forehand stab for out number 2.
Jeremy Randolph saying, look what I found. Gabe Rivera with a screaming line drive. Looked like it was going right back up the middle, but Randolph throws his glove out and gets the best possible result. Lands right in the back of his glove.
I mean, what lightning quick reflexes from the strikeout pitcher out of Wright State. Now Chris Gallen at the right side. The pitch. Call it a strike. The righty going right after the BC right fielder. Gallen's been about as hot as they come at times on the Cape this year. He's batting .292 on June 26 as the 0-1 is a called strike. But since in 32 at-bats, he only has 6 hits and has struck out 11 times. So Chris Gallen just trying to right the ship here. 1 for 2 today with a strikeout in the bottom of the 2nd, the 0-2. Ball 1. Pedro Pages framing it just over the outer half of the plate, but the breaking ball not quite getting up there. 1-2 the count on the hitter out of Boston College. The 1-2. Cut on and nubbed right back to Randolph. He gets a much easier contact out right there as he gloves it forehand side and just flips over to the first baseman Lindsley for out number 3 at the bottom of the 4th inning. So 2 strikeouts and 1 nifty play from the man on the mound in Randolph. Gets Hyannis through the bottom of the 4th inning. 1, 2, 3. And now we go to the top of the 5th. Eric Rivera, Davis Wenzel, Braden Como 2 up. the 9, 1, and 2 hitters for Hyannis. When we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, this game's still not at 3. Do not go anywhere.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein and Chris Lucey.
Eric Rivera up to the plate to start things off here in the top of the 5th. He's Lyle Goldstein. I'm Chris Lucey. He'll be followed up by Davis Wenzel and Braden Como. And Jack Dreyer out for inning number 5 for the Harwich Mariners. This game knotted at 3 from White House Field. The first pitch to Rivera. Called a strike right down Broadway. 0-1 the count on the right fielder out of FAU. Might be a little shaken up at the plate right now. Was hit by a pitch and really had trouble walking it off in his first at-bat as the 0-1 dips low and away for ball 1. Middle infielders playing kind of towards the outfield grass as the 0-1 is cut on golfed foul behind home. A little bit down the first base line as well. Shortstop is kind of straight away, but Casales, the second baseman out of Maine, really liking kind of shading up the middle going on the outfield grass. Everyone else pretty much straight away in the infield. The 1-2. Cut on and fisted foul down the first base line. Forehand scoop from Bobby Melly, the first base coach for the Harbor Hawks, slipping that one in. Wearing his gray Harbor Hawks sweatshirt, as my broadcast partner Lyle Goldstein's also broken out some warmer threads here as we get into late innings. Things get colder out here on Cape Cod. The 1-2. High and outside for ball 2. It's not like calling baseball out in Tempe, Arizona, is it, Lyle?
No, not at all. Gets pretty chilly. I mean, it hasn't been the last couple of weeks, but usually here in Cape Cod, once you get to the nighttime towards 8 o'clock, it gets pretty windy.
The 2-2. Hacked on, roasted high and foul down the right field line, gets out of play. Now, it gets buggy out here in Cape Cod, too, as you've probably noticed at this point. You don't get a lot of bugs out in Arizona, do you?
No, absolutely not. I mean, they stay away from that dry heat. I mean, there's not a whole lot of water in Arizona. So,
well, the Harbor Hawks knotted at 3 right now with the Harwich Mariners. And the 2-2. High and outside. Count now loaded to Eric Rivera. Nobody on, nobody down. Top of the 5th inning just underway. The payoff pitch. Ball 4. Rips across the zone, but too high. And Eric Rivera trots down to first base. He's on with a leadoff walk here in the top of the 5th. And the top of the order right back up, it's Davis Wenzel. He's 0 for 1 with a flyout and a sacrifice fly in the 3rd. So Hyannis trying to break this 3-3 tie, and Davis Wenzel, someone who's going to make Dreyer work, to say the least, as now Dreyer's pitch count is starting to get elevated. Pitch. High and outside, ball 1. 73 pitches on the game right now for Dreyer. The 1-0 is pitch 74. Called a strike. Chest high right over the heart of the plate. 1-1 the count. Runner on first base is Rivera. A 3-3 tie here from White House Field in Harwich. Hyannis trying to complete the series sweep of the Mariners and reclaim first place as the 1-1 comes in and tight. 2-1 now on Davis Wenzel out of Baylor. Trying to work another walk again. He leads this ball club with an astounding 17. The lefty deals to the righty, but first a snap throw back over to first. Nifty pickoff move from the lefty. Picked up that front foot and then just whipped one right over to first base. Eric Rivera retreated, though. He got on with the leadoff walk on a full count. Now the 2-1. Swung on and sent high and foul, way out of play. Coach Gassman gives Davis Wenzel a little bit of encouragement from the third base coaching box. And there's a little bit of action in the Harwich Mariners bullpen. Reliever warming up in Tom Sutera. Now the 2-2. Runner goes. Eric Rivera slides into second base. Tag applied on the throw from home, and Mason Meadows cannot catch Eric Rivera. He slides in safe with a stolen base. And with nobody down here in the top of the fifth inning, Hyannis has a runner in scoring position.
Rivera didn't get a great jump on that one, but had just enough speed to beat it out. Also slid right under the tag and slid right to the end part of the right side of the second base bag to pick up a stolen base and put a man in scoring position.
Davis Wenzel with a 3-2 count. The pitch was called a ball. And now the payoff after another quick pickup of that foot and then a step off the rubber from the pitcher in Dreyer. Sutera getting warmed up in a hurry down the left field line for the Mariners out in the Harwich bullpen. And the 3-2. Cut on, sent high down the right field line. This one chasing Chris Gallen towards the line. He makes the catch in fair territory for out number 1, and Eric Rivera stays put at second base. One away here in the top of the fifth, and Braden Como coming to the plate for Hyannis.
And Wenzel 3 flyouts today. That one just a looping fly ball into short right field. Gallen had to come in a little bit of a ways, moving off to his left as well. Caught it just inside the line. But Wenzel just getting a little bit under of everything so far today.
Braden Como up to the plate now, looking to extend a little bit of a hit streak. He's hit safely in 10 consecutive games coming into tonight. Stands at the right side of the plate. Eric Rivera with a 2-step lead off a second, and the pitch. Ball 1 low and away. 1-0 now the count on the infielder out of Rice University, playing second base for Hyannis today, where he's kind of been the man at that middle infield spot all year long for Hyannis. Now the 1-0 from Dreyer. Check swing. And Bill Pompa rings up Como. 1-1 now the count on the fastball. Como with a quick little exchange with Pompa as he stands in the right-handed batter's box. 3-3 tie here from White House Field. 1 out, 1-1 count on Braden Como. Runner on second base in Rivera. The pitch. Breaking ball cut in on the hands, and a quick check back to second base from Dreyer as the pitcher comes off the mound and throws the ball over to first base to get Braden Como for out number 2. We've seen the pitchers come off the mound in each of the previous 2 frames here and make some money with their defense too, but I'm not sure if Dreyer can really mimic the heroics of Jeremy Randolph with that nasty forehand stab he had on a ripped liner up the middle.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I thought that was getting back into center field for sure, but Randolph, again, he did all he could. He flashed the glove, tried to just basically stick it out as far as he could, and it ended up in the back of his mitt. But don't let it fool you. Pitchers can be athletes too, and we've seen it from Randolph today. We saw it a little bit from Dreyer right there.
Now Matt Barefoot up to the right side of the plate, one of the better athletes on this Harbor Hawks ball club. Runner on second and 2 down. Hyannis trying to break a 3-3 tie from White House Field. The pitch. Called strike. The lefty sneaking a breaking ball over the outer half of the plate. And the righty in Barefoot down 0-1. Tom Sutera still warming up for the Harwich Mariners. But Dreyer trying to send him back to the dugout. The 0-1. Bouncer, 1-1 the count. Eric Rivera draws a throw from home, and the ball hits him as he retreats to the bag and bounces out into center field. Gorski was playing back, so he couldn't get there in time to keep Rivera on second, as now the Harbor Hawks' ninth hitter moves over to third base, and the go-ahead run is 90 feet away from scoring with 2 down here in the top of the 5th inning.
Rivera just caught a nice break there. Was trying to retreat back to second on the snap throw from Meadows, but hit right off his helmet and dribbled into center field.
Now the 1-1 from Dreyer. Taking his time out there on the mound. And time called by Bill Pompa. So Sutera looks like he's ready to go out there in the bullpen. He stopped throwing. He since now just is watching his counterpart in Dreyer. Now Barefoot's ready to go in the batter's box once again. Dreyer to the set. The 1-1. Call it a strike over the outer half. Another off-speed offering, and Hyannis 1 strike away from stranding a runner 90 feet away from a 4-3 lead. This game's tied at 3 as we speak now, but Eric Rivera standing on third base. The 1-2. Cut on and hit off the front foot of Matt Barefoot. Luckily for him, unlike his last name suggests, he is indeed wearing cleats. So spared there, as you all spare me my little moment to make a stupid pun. And now Barefoot walking it off as a trainer comes out of the Harbor Hawks dugout. He sends her away, though, as he's just trying to walk it off. Barefoot, definitely one of the tougher guys on this ball club, has played pretty much every game for the Harbor Hawks and never complained about anything. Started 59 games and played in 60 for the Campbell Camels this year as well. Between that and his college season, that is 81 games.
Yeah, he's definitely durable, to say the least, but that is one of the worst feelings in the world for a hitter when you foul one right off the bone of your ankle. Because it takes a while for it to kind of walk it off and recover, and it's definitely going to leave a mark for Barefoot. But as he hobbles it off for a minute or so, now making his way back to the box, he appears to be okay.
Well, he's got to fight away a 1-2 pitch right now. Dreyer with plenty of time to think about it out there on the mound as Tom Sutera watches from the bullpen. Runner on third base in Rivera could break this game open for Hyannis. The 1-2. Breaking ball just misses the zone for ball 2. That one coming over the outer half of the plate, but a little bit too high for Bill Pompa's tastes. 2-2 now the count. A 3-3 tie here from White House Field. 2 strikes in the top of the 5th inning. Lefty from Iowa to the set. The 2-2. Bouncer just in front of home plate. Forces Mason Meadows to spring up and block the ball. He chests it up and looks down to Eric Rivera down at third. Throws back out to the mound. And now Dreyer has to ready a 3-2 pitch. Steve Englert on the top step of the Mariners dugout. The manager possibly ready to pull the plug. Now the payoff pitch. Hacked on and missed, strike 3. No need to get anxious in the Mariners dugout there as Eric Rivera is stranded on third base after garnering a leadoff walk, stealing a bag, and then stealing another one off of getting plunked by the catcher Mason Meadows on a check throw down to second base. So on that one walk, 3 men go up, 3 men go down right after. No runs are scored. This game is still knotted at 3 going into the bottom half of the 5th inning. Matt Gorski, Aaron Schunk, and Andre Lipsius do up the 2, 3, 4 hitters for the Harwich Mariners, trying to break this game open from White House Field. An interdivisional matchup heating up here in Harwich. More when we get back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein.
3-3 ball game here at White House Field as we're ready to kick off the bottom of the 5th inning. Due up for the Harwich Mariners, Matt Gorski, Aaron Shunk, and Andre Lipsius, the 2-3-4. Harbor Hawks right-hander Jeremy Randolph back on the mound for inning number 5. As he works from the set, the first pitch to Gorski is a breaking ball down low for ball 1. The Matt Gorski 0 for 1 today. Walked and scored in the first and then struck out swinging in the second. That second inning strikeout was the 5th punch out of the night for Jeremy Randolph, who currently sits with 9. Time's briefly called. Gorski steps out of the box. He had his left foot right at the edge. Kicks the dirt a couple of times, now makes his way back in. Randolph will get his sign. Wheels and fires the 1-0 and misses low again. 2 balls and no strikes to the Indiana product in Matt Gorski. Gets his sign, now counters with a fastball. That one misses away. 3-0 the count. Matt Gorski on the season, a .273 hitter. Has 15 hits to his name on the season. But Randolph, working with a 3-0 count, counters with a fastball, and Gorski swings and sends a high fly ball to deep center field. Going back is Tommy Jew at the wall, settles under it, and makes the catch right on the warning track for out number 1. So a long first out for Jeremy Randolph as Matt Gorski got the green light on a 3-0 fastball and tattooed it about 397 feet. But the UC Santa Barbara product in Tommy Jew, a good jump on it, had a beat all the way and tracked it down right on the track.
Well, the former infielder just absolutely had a beat on that right off the bat. He just twitched right towards that right center field gap where it was coming in. If he didn't get there in time, if he missed his spot, that thing might have left the yard by just fractions of an inch.
Gorski just inches away from his first home run of the summer. He hit 8 this season at Indiana as the cleanup hitter, or the 3-hitter, and Aaron Shunk swings and misses through a first pitch from Jeremy Randolph off speed and gets a quick first pitch strike. Aaron Shunk, who came into the day hitting .390, so far 0 for 2. Randolph with the 0-1, fastball right at the bottom of the zone for strike 2. Shunk came into the day 16 for 41 along with 10 RBIs. Sun just about set. Lights continuing to come on as Randolph's fastball with an 0-2 misses just away for ball 1.
It might not be Tempe, Lyle, but still a beautiful, beautiful place to watch a ball game for its own reasons.
Cape Cod baseball in July, it doesn't get much better. Infield playing straight up, and the 1-2 from Randolph, swinging a foul, grounded down the third base line. Shunk will step out of the box quickly. Aaron Shunk in his year at Georgia. Sported an average of .299. Put up a trio of home runs along with 38 runs batted in. 72 hits. 1-2 from Randolph, a check swing low and away, appealed down to first and didn't go around according to first base umpire Bob Gardner. Count runs even, 2-2, 1 out. 3-3 game here at White House Field. Randolph shakes off one sign, now gets the one he likes. Sets right at the letters. The 2-2 fastball down and away. Full count to the Georgia product in Aaron Shunk. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Harwich with 4 hits on the night up to this point. Randolph with the payoff pitch, swinging a ground ball right back up the middle for a base hit. Aaron Shunk continues to stay hot on this young summer, picks up his first hit of the night, 5th total for the Mariners so far. And with 1 out, there's a man aboard for the cleanup hitter in Andre Lipsius.
Yeah, Aaron Shunk has just been red hot since that 1-for-4 debut. Didn't impress much in that debut against the Harbor Hawks, but since he's had a run batted in every single game he's played out here on the Cape.
That's really something else. I mean, runs batted in, especially for a team like the Harwich Mariners, who currently sit 9th in the league in runs scored. For Aaron Shunk to be producing like that on offense, it's truly a sight to watch. Time is quickly called. Lipsius getting into his stance, circles his bat around the zone once. Randolph to the set. First pitch, breaking ball, a ground ball out to the backhand of Will Holland. Fields it off to his left, a throw on to first on the run, and it's in time for out number 2. So Will Holland, who is a highly coveted defender, showing it off a little bit right there, or moving off to his right, I should say, over toward third base. Makes the ball not quite on a backhand, but just fielded out glove side, but still coming away from the hitter and the first base line. Makes a throw across his body, perfect right to Brady Lindsley, making a nice stretch, and that'll be out number 2. As Chad Gassman walks his way out to the mound, that could be the day for Jeremy Randolph, and it looks like it will be. Gassman takes the ball from the right state right-hander. His day is done after 4 2/3 innings. We'll be back right after this as Keegan James, the right-hander out of Mississippi State, will take over in just a moment on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back to Chad Gassman making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Two out here in the bottom of the 5th at White House Field between the Harbor Hawks and the Harwich Mariners, a 3-3 ball game as the new man on hand for Hyannis, right-hander Keegan James out of Mississippi State, 6'3", 225-pound man, making his 3rd appearance on the summer for Hyannis. Thrown 3 1/3 innings up to this point. First pitch to the new hitter, and Dani Casals misses away for ball 1. Casals today, 2 strikeouts in an 0 for 2 day up to this point. 1 looking, 1 swinging. Has a high batting stance, stands pretty much straight up from the right-handed side, bat right at the head level, just in front of his right shoulder. Pitch from James misses down as the count runs to 2-0.
And another great outing for Jeremy Randolph, 4 2/3, only 2 earned runs allowed. The 3rd run that has this game tied was not an earned one, and 9 strikeouts to 2 walks, an incredible performance.
Of course, Randolph responsible for the man on second base. That's Aaron Shunk, who advanced on the 6-3 putout on a beauty from Will Holland at short. As James's 2-0 offering is a fastball right on the outside corner as the count moves to 2-1. But quickly taking you back to that Will Holland play, moved off to his right, looked like he was going to have to backhand it, somehow got in front of it just in time, still moving off toward third, but made a beautiful throw across his body right to Lindsley. James working from the set with a man on second. He checks the runner a couple of times, now wheels and fires the 2-1. Breaking ball in there for a called strike, and the count's now 2-2.
Keegan James, a great pitcher in his own right. Comes in with a fastball, curveball, changeup, working on a bit of a slider as well with Coach Korn.
Yet to allow a run on the Cape, just 2 hits in his first 2 appearances, one against the YD Red Sox in 2 innings and another against Bourne in an inning and a third. Keegan James ready. The 2-2 pitch, breaking ball down and away, chested up by Pedro Pages as the runner in Shunk will have to stay right at second.
Might have been our first glimpse of the slider right there. A little bit of early downward action to it. Also a bit of horizontal movement too. Not quite a 12-6 curve.
So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A man on second. This game knotted up at 3-3. Sun fully set. The lights on here. James from the set takes a big breath and sets at the belt. Payoff pitch, swinging a ground ball foul down the third base line. Keegan James posted a 4.68 ERA in his 42 and a third innings pitched at Mississippi State this season. James played for a Mississippi State ball club. The Bulldogs won the Tallahassee Regional. That was back in May. They went 38-27 on the year. James from the set after getting a new ball, checks the runner at second. 3-2 pitch, swinging a ground ball out to Will Holland at short, moves a couple of steps to his left, takes a couple of crow hops, and throws it across the first in time for out number 3. So Keegan James comes in and cleans up the minor mess here with a man on second in the bottom of the 5th inning, as this game is still knotted at 3-3 through 5. We'll be back right after this. Due up for the Harbor Hawks to start the top of the 6th, Pedro Pages, Todd Lott, and Brady Lindsley when we come back in a 3-3 ball game here at White House Field.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Chris Lucey and Lyle Goldstein.
Back here for the top of the 6th inning, the night of Jack Dreyer, the left-hander out of Iowa, is done after 5 innings pitched. And the new man for the Harwich Mariners, Tom Sutera, the right-hander out of Siena College, the 6'6", 190-pound man finishing up his junior year there, set to make his 8th appearance here in Cape Cod this summer for the Mariners. 3 ERA, thrown 15 innings, walk 6. First pitch to Pages is grounded right to the second baseman, and Casals moving a couple of steps to his right, fields it cleanly and throws on to first for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out for the right-hander in Sutera to start the top of the 6th.
An efficient start for Sutera and an efficient game for Dreyer as well. Jack Dreyer threw 5 innings, as you mentioned, Lyle, only walked 3, only allowed 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 runs on the board, though, so this game's tied, but 8 strikeouts. It was a duel early on, and neither pitcher getting a lot of support from the men playing behind them.
So now Todd Lott steps in. It'll be his first time seeing Sutera. Sutera works from the set. The first pitch to Lotta, swinging a line drive down the left field line for a base hit. Fielded by the left fielder, Nykoff, quickly thrown back in. Lott stops at first and picks up his first hit of the night. The Louisiana Lafayette product in Todd Lott has now hit safely in 13 of his last 14 games.
Oh, Lyle, I just don't see anywhere where a scout could look at Todd Lott and not see a very high round pick coming up in the next couple of years. He's so toolsy, he's so big, and he can just hit the pitching out here. He has the skills, he has everything that he needs to be successful at the next level. This has just been a great summer for him all around.
Lott with that hit moves up to an average of .313 on the summer. Now Brady Lindsley digs in and swings right through the first pitch and cuts right through it for strike one. So Sutera starting Lindsley off with a fastball. Lott's on at first base. Lindsley, the lone left-handed hitter in the Harbor Hawks lineup tonight. Hyannis countering with 8 righties against Jack Dreyer, who started off the left-hander out of Iowa, as Lindsley swings and sends a high fly ball into left field. Coming over toward the line is Eichhoff, settles under it and makes the grab for out number 2. 2 away for the Harbor Hawks in the bottom of the 6th with a man on board, and stepping up to the plate is UC Santa Barbara outfielder Tommy Jew. So Sutera making quick work outside of the single against the Harbor Hawks so far. He's only thrown 4 pitches up to this point. Jew digging into the right-handed side of the box. Sutera gives Todd Lott a look over at first. From the set, right at the letters. Comes home to Jew, swings at the first pitch and sends a weak ground ball up to the third baseman, and Shunk fields it cleanly, throws on the run, and it gets by Lipsius at first. Jew heading to second, Lott going to third. Lott being held right there by Chad Gassman. The throw into the plate is chested up by Meadows. And just like that, the Harbor Hawks have runners on second and third with 2 outs.
Definitely an infield hit right there from Tommy Jew. That was almost an impossible play for Shunk. Probably would have been better advised just to eat the baseball right there and save himself the E5, but just sailed that thing over the first baseman and Lipsius, who really had no chance at getting it. And thankfully, Coach Gassman with the presence of mind to stop up Todd Lott, as the throw did come up the line a little bit, but might have caught Todd Lott just in time as it was still on the base path.
So Will Holland, the man out of Auburn, finding his way into the batter's box. Will's 1 for 2 today, singled and scored in the 3rd, and then struck out swinging in the 4th. That'll be scored. An error by the third baseman. Looks like they're just going to give that an E5. The first pitch to Holland, off speed, right on the outside corner for strike 1.
I mean, it was a tough play to make. It's not like it was a tailor-made play for Shunk whatsoever.
Yeah, interesting decision there by the official scorers, but Jew's on at second. Todd Lott's at third. And Will Holland finds himself in an 0-1 count. 3-3 ball game here in the top of the 6th. Sutera from the set. Off speed, misses down low. So far on the day, all of the Harbor Hawks hitters, with the exception of Eric Rivera and Davis Wenzel, the number 9 and 1 hitters, have struck out so far. Holland's coming back in the 4th. That was swinging on the 6th punch out from Jack Dreyer. But now the 1-1 from Sutera misses away for ball 2. Off speed, runs off the plate. Will Holland so far on the summer, sporting a .300 average. 3 for 10 on the summer. He, of course, spent some time with Team USA, but as of last week was activated by the Harbor Hawks as he calls time, quickly kicks some dirt up to the front of the batter's box, takes half a practice swing, and now's back in. Sporting his wide batting stance, feet more than shoulder width apart. Also has some bend at the knees. The 2-1 to Holland, breaking ball, misses down as the count runs to 3 balls and 1 strike. Holland looking to pick up a couple of RBIs here. He doesn't have any up to this point, but has got 2 ducks on the pond. Lott at third, Jew at second. 3-1 to Holland. Fastball for a called strike, and the count runs to 3-2.
Well, Holland starting to find his groove at the plate right now. He's working this count pretty well, and we've already seen him flash the leather over it short. So starting off the summer pretty well right now. Got a trio of hits and just trying to build on what he's got so far.
Wasn't named to the Brooks Wallace Award watch list for nothing, which is given to the nation's top shortstop. Showing it with the glove and now trying to show it with the bat. The 3-2 breaking ball misses away for ball 4. Will Holland draws a 2-out walk to load the bases here in the top of the 6th. Lot and Juice stay put. Holland down to first. And in comes Eric Rivera, the number 9 hitter, who's yet to record an official at-bat today. Has a run scored, but was hit by a pitch in the 3rd and then walked and stole a base in the 5th. First walk issued of the day by the right-hander in Sutera. Came into today with just 6 walks to his name on the summer. First pitch to Rivera, fastball taken on the outer half for strike 1.
And Lyle, you couldn't have a better hitter at the plate right now for the Harbor Hawks. As of the last walk for Rivera, he has 10 walks to 8 strikeouts on the campaign. You know you're going to get something effective out of him right now.
The next pitch to Rivera is a fastball missing just away. Count moves to even, 1-1. Now Rivera only hitting 196 on the summer, but not a guy that strikes out a lot, like you mentioned. Likely going to put the ball in play. It'll be his first time tonight seeing Sutera. First time this summer as well. This is the 4th matchup between the two teams as Rivera sends a ground ball out to the second baseman Casals, moves off to his left, fields it cleanly and throws on to first, and that'll be out number 3. So Hyannis threatens in the top of the 6th, but leave 3 men on to keep this game knotted at 3 apiece. Mariners coming up in the bottom of the 6th. Due up for Harwich will be Tanner Morris, Nate Eichhoff, and Mason Meadows when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
Well, Keegan James, after getting the final out of the 5th inning, makes his way back to the mound for inning number 6. Through a third of an inning as he came in to finish the job for Jeremy Randolph, who struck out 9 4 2/3 innings. But the right-hander out of Mississippi State and James now works from the windup. First pitch to the left-handed hitter, and Tanner Morris is swung on and sent high out to left field. Moving off to his right is Matthew Barefoot. Makes the catch as he camps under it, and that'll be out number 1. So Tanner Morris swings at the first pitch he sees from the right-hander in Keegan James. First time seeing him this summer. Tries to make quick work of him, but sends a looping fly ball out to left. An easy play for the Campbell product and Barefoot.
Well, you can't blame Morris for being aggressive today. Had 2 base hits going into that at bat. So see the ball, hit the ball. It's worked so far. And he has a pair of RBIs as well. 3 RBIs, actually.
He's accounted for all 3 runs so far for the Mariners tonight. Now James's first pitch to Nate Eichhoff is taken up and away for ball 1. So Harwich, only 2 left-handed hitters in the lineup tonight as opposed to just the 1 for Hyannis and Brady Lindsley. But only 2 left-handed hitters against Jeremy Randolph, who's a right-hander out of Wright State. Now Keegan James, a righty as well, as he throws in a fastball to Eichhoff, taken for a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Can't blame coaches really for not giving too much thought to matchups as far as that's concerned out here, considering the talent that they have.
Well, James from the windup. And the 1-1 to the hitter, and Eichhoff runs outside for ball 2.
And I mean, just getting back to that point, the talent at the disposal of both Coach Gassman for Hyannis and Coach Englert for Harwich is considerable enough that, I mean, if you're nitpicking, you want to go in matchups, sure, but
Eichhoff swings at the next pitch from James and sends it foul, back and out of play.
But other than that, the talent level is so high here, you're really not sure what you're going to get anyway. So you put together the best lineup you have of the guys that are hitting the best that are hitting right now where they like to hit. And usually it's a pretty successful plan.
Eichhoff coming into the day hitting just 107 at home. Came into today's ball game hitting just 152 as he takes a breaking ball down low. Eichhoff's walked and struck out tonight. Bottom third of the Mariners order really struggling to find some offense. 150 from Eichhoff, 083 from Meadows, and 216 from Rivera. As James's 2-strike pitch on a full count is taken for strike 3 on a breaking ball. Looking strikeout for Nate Eichhoff, and the first punch out of the night for Keegan James as he records out number 2 here in the top of the 6th.
Keegan James just pulling the lampshade on that curveball right there. A beautiful pitch, and 2 up, 2 down. He's cruising. James has retired all 3 batters he's faced so far tonight.
3 up, 3 down for James so far. 2 up and 2 retired in the top of the 6th as the right-handed hitting catcher and Mason Meadows steps in. First pitch from James is taken for strike 1. Meadows no hits in 2 attempts today. But Hyannis going with their power arms against the Mariners, to say the least. Randolph came into the day with 22 strikeouts and punched out an additional 9 as James's fastball misses down and away. Count now 1-1. But Keegan James, in his season at Mississippi State, he walked just 15 guys and struck out 42. His opponent average against him was fairly high. It was 315 to be exact, but he is a strikeout machine. Now the 1-1, a breaking ball cut right through. The hitter in Meadows swings right over the top of it as the count now runs to a ball and 2 strikes.
Comes consistently with 90 to 91 miles per hour, and the Harbor Hawks have clocked him at upwards of 95 on the season as well, so plenty of heat.
Meadows from the set, a 3-3 ball game here at White House Field in Harwich. Takes a breath. Now wheels and fires the 1-2. Swinging a ground ball out to Will Holland at short. Fields it on 2 hops. Throws on the run right to Brady Lindsley across the diamond. And that'll do it for the Mariners in the home half of the 6th. 3 up, 3 down for Keegan James. A 1-2-3 inning along with a strikeout. And this game still knotted at 3 apiece. We'll be back for the 7th right after this on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Last chance.
Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein.
Top of the order due up for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the 7th inning. Davis Wenzel, the third baseman out of Baylor, set to lead things off against Tom Sutera, making his way back out to the mound for the Harwich Mariners for inning number 2 of his night. 3-3 ball game here at White House Field. Harwich scored 2 in the first and 1 in the third, while Hyannis got all 3 of their runs back in the top of the 3rd inning as Wenzel takes a first pitch fastball in the outer half of the plate for strike 1. Wenzel 3 flyouts today, 0 for 3. 2 of those fly balls going out to right field and Chris Gallen. The other to center field, Matt Gorski in the first. The next pitch to Wenzel, swinging a drive out to deep left field. Going back is Eichhoff, looks up, and that ball's history. Davis Wenzel leads off the top of the 7th with a solo shot and makes this a 4-3 game in favor of the Harbor Hawks. No doubt about it. Eichhoff turned and was nothing but a spectator as Wenzel turns on that pitch from Tom Sutera and drills it out into the trees beyond the fence here at White House Field. Hyannis leads by 1 score for the first time since the 3rd inning, where all 3 of their previous runs came from. Braden Como now digs in. Sutera from the set. Braden swings at the first pitch and sends a fly ball out to fairly deep right field, taking a couple of steps back as Gallen camps under it and puts it away for out number 1. Como's retired for the 3rd time tonight. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. And now stepping up to the plate is Matthew Barefoot. Matthew Barefoot, 1 for 2, along with a single and a strikeout. Sutera gets his sign from the catcher. The first pitch to Barefoot, swinging a ground ball up the middle, snagged on the forehand by the shortstop, and Morris throw on to first, and not in time as Matthew Barefoot beats it out for an infield single. He's aboard with 1 man out in the top of the 7th inning as the shortstop in Tanner Morris didn't look like he had any way in the world to catch up to that ball, but put a glove on it, going off to his left with a forehand stab. Tried to make a throw across his body, but the speedy Barefoot beat it out by just a step as Pedro Pages makes his way over to the batter's box. So almost a highlight reel play from the Virginia product in Morris, but just a second too late. Pages digs in, right-handed catcher out of FAU. 0 for 3 today, but reached base once on an error by the center fielder in Matt Gorski. Sutera from the set. The first pitch to Pages is taken for a strike. Well, Pedro Pages, this will be his first time this summer seeing the right-hander in Sutera. He checks Barefoot over at first. Now comes home with a fastball called strike, and the count's now 0-2. So Pedro Pages hitting just 167 coming into the day against right-handed pitchers. And Sutera 6'6" and a righty out of Siena College. He comes set right at the letters. The pitch to Pages, swinging a pop-up right behind home plate, giving chase on it as the catcher in Meadows can't make the catch after settling under it, sails right over his head. Overran it by just a little bit, and Pages is granted a new life. So Pedro, it's been in a little bit of a slump over the last week. Came into the day hitting .242. Makes his way back into the box. Bat wiggling just above his right shoulder. The set and the 0-2 from the pitcher in Sutera is a called strike 3 on an off-speed right at the letters. Pedro Pages goes down by the strikeout for the 2nd time tonight. And there's 1 out, 2 outs for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks in the top of the 7th. Todd Lott stepping up to the plate. Louisiana Lafayette product, singled in his last at bat, but was stranded over at third base. Todd Lott with 5 home runs on the summer. which is crazy to think about, considering that in his season out at Louisiana Lafayette, he hit just 3 homers. His back foot on the end of the right-handed batter's box as he swings at the first pitch and sends a line drive out to right field. A beat on it as the right fielder in Gallen, but can't come up with the ball, and it goes in and out of his glove. Lott taking off for second as the relay back in, catches him in a pickle, but slides around the tag, gets out of the base path in the reach of the pitcher in Sutera, the second baseman in Casals. Tag not applied, and he's on at second. Moving down to third is Matthew Barefoot. So on a crazy play here at White House Field, Chris Gallen had a beat on a line drive, took about a step back. Thought he had the play, but just off the end of his glove, couldn't come up with it. Lott cruising into second, tried to get around the tag and successfully did so from Dani Casals as Barefoot makes his way into third. Steve Englert, the Mariners manager, out to have a word with the field umpires. I think he's arguing that Lott was out of the base paths as he took a wide turn out to his right. So, meeting concludes. Englert doesn't look too happy, but shaking his head, walking his way back to the dugout. Chad Gassman found his way out to home plate to talk to his players over in the dugout. Now making his way out to third base. So on what was just a bizarre play, there's runners on second and third, 2 outs. And due up for the Harbor Hawks will be Brady Lindsley, but he hasn't yet made his way out to home plate yet. As it looks like there's going to be a pinch hitter for the Oklahoma first baseman. It'll be Trevor Hauver out of Arizona State. Hauver didn't play in last night's game. Last time he started was against the Catuit Kettleers. That just 2 days ago, back on Friday, I should say. Or make it Saturday. But Hauver, a left-handed hitter, taking a couple of practice swings outside the batter's box and on the infield grass. Now making his way into the left-handed side to face the righty in Sutera. But Trevor Hauver off to a really nice start this summer, hitting .308. Brady Lindsley's day is done after an 0-for-3 night. Sutera back on the mound, continuing to work from the set. The Todd Lott on at second. After what'll be recorded in E9. Trevor Hauver takes the first pitch for a called strike on the inside corner. Hauver, 12 for 39 this summer. From the set is Sutera. The pitch to the ASU outfielder and Hauver is taken up and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Trevor Hauver, with runners on base this summer, hitting .421 with 4 RBIs as he's got 2 men on here. Off speed from Sutera, misses low, blocked in the dirt by the catcher in Meadows. Lights are fully on here at White House Field. 4-3 ball game in favor of the Harbor Hawks. The Davis Wenzel leadoff home run, the deciding factor up to this point. Now the 2-1 to Hauver. Fastball taken on the outer half for strike 2. Trevor Hauver didn't like the looks of that one. Shakes his head a little bit. Chad Gassman claps his hands a couple of times down the third base line, giving his outfielder a couple of words of encouragement. Has a chance to extend the lead by 1 or possibly 2 runs. Lott on second, Barefoot at third. The set from Sutera, the 2-2 on the way, swing and a miss, and that'll do it for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the 7th inning. They strand 2 men on base. Trevor Hauver punches out against Sutera, his 3rd strikeout of the night for the right-hander out of Siena. But 4-3 your score in favor of the Harbor Hawks through 6.5 frames. We'll be back for the bottom of the 7th right after this when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Media copyright. Magic Work Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Bottom half of the seventh set to get underway at White House Field. A 4-3 contest between the Harbor Hawks and the Mariners. Hyannis on top by just a run. The deciding factor, a Davis Wenzel home run to lead off the top of the seventh. A solo shot out to left. Keegan James back out to the mound. First hitter he'll face here in the bottom of the seventh is Gabe Rivera, the designated hitter out of Miami. Takes a fastball down low for ball one. Couple of defensive changes for the Harbor Hawks. As we mentioned, Brady Lindsley's night is done after Trevor Hauver came in to pinch hit for him. Hauver did not go back out to the field. Pedro Pages makes his way out to first, and Kyle Wilkie now behind the plate doing the catching as Rivera swings and misses through the next offering from James to even the count at a ball and a strike. Rivera in his college season hit .224 with 2 home runs. Finished his freshman year up at Miami. The 1-1 from James, swing and a miss for strike 2. Gabe Rivera hacks right through that one, swings right underneath it. Slight wind now here at White House Field, getting to be a fairly chilly night. We're at 8:43 p.m. Start time was 6:30 here between Harwich and Hyannis. 1-2 from Keegan James. A squiggler right back to the mound. Keegan comes off, fields it cleanly. A wide throw to first, but Pages keeps his foot on the bag and makes a nice stretch for out number 1. Rivera's retired for the 3rd time tonight. 1 batter, 1 man retired for James as he's now going to see the top of the lineup for the Mariners. And Chris Gallen, the right fielder out of Boston College. Gallen's got 1 hit and 3 tries today. He was one of the 2 men that scored in the 2 spot put up by Harwich in the first. It'll be his first time seeing Keegan James as the right-hander deals the first pitch to the leadoff hitter for a called strike on a fastball. James, yet to allow a hit so far in his outing, has retired 5 straight hitters up to this point. 1 2/3 innings pitched. Now the 0-1 from the windup. A breaking ball in there for strike 2. Drops right into the zone at the last second. And Keegan James way ahead of the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Braden Como playing a little bit off to his left and toward first base. Fairly wide hole up the middle. James now ready. The 0-2 on the way. Breaking ball misses down and away. So far on the summer, for the hitter in Galland, came into the day hitting .226 after a 1-for-3 night so far. .231 average, along with a homer and 10 RBIs. James now ready. The 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Fastball right at the knees, and Chris Gallen punches out for the 2nd time tonight. Strikeout number 2 on the night for Keegan James, and there's 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. So Keegan James continuing to make quick work of the Mariners lineup. 6 up, 6 down for the Mississippi State right-hander. Matt Gorski digs in, the Indiana center fielder. Keegan brings his arms above his head, now sets at the letters. First pitch breaking ball to Gorski is a ground ball toward third, right under the glove of Davis Wenzel, and that gets into left field. Matt Gorski taking a hard turn around first. He'll stop there and retreat back to the bag. But a man reaches base for the Mariners with 2 outs on what'll be an E5 on Davis Wenzel, bringing up the number 3 hitter in Aaron Shunk. So that looked like a ground ball that was going to end the inning, but Davis Wenzel came up on it a little bit too quickly as the ball got right under his glove. Only had to take about a step to his left on it. But Matthew Barefoot, the left fielder, fielded it quickly and tossed it back in. Aaron Shunk with a 1-for-3 day digs in, wiggling that bat right behind his right shoulder. Keegan James now works from the set. The Bulldog fires to Shunk, who swings at the first pitch and sends a line drive down the right field line and foul just past the outstretched glove of Pedro Pages, as it sounded like Shunk broke his bat on that one as he tosses it toward the dugout, and he'll go retrieve a new piece of wood. So an SEC matchup set at hand. The Mississippi State Bulldog and Keegan James up against Aaron Shunk, the Georgia Bulldog, for the first time tonight. So a Bulldog on Bulldog matchup. Infield pretty much playing straight up. Pedro Pages holding on the runner at first. Pages took over for Brady Lindsley just this inning, as Lindsley, the Oklahoma Products night, is done after an 0-for-3 day. Shunk now makes his way back into the batter's box, gets into his stance, tapping his left foot to the base of the dirt. Wiggling his bat, staring down James. Keegan James from the set. The pitch to Shunk, a fastball right on the outside corner for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. 4-3 game in favor of Hyannis. Harbor Hawks, 4 runs on 5 hits. Mariners, 3 runs on 6 hits. But the stat that stands out at you up to this point, 4 errors for Harwich. Man on first is Matt Gorski with a small lead. James from the set. The pitch to the hitter in Shunk is a called strike 3 right on a fastball, and Keegan James gets a scoreless inning here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Runner stranded on first, and Matt Gorski, who got on via the error off Davis Wenzel, but extends no further, as Keegan James continuing to work very efficiently through this Mariners order, as Hyannis still leads 4-3 through 7 innings. We'll be back in the top of the 8th, due up for the Harbor Hawks, then the bottom third of the order in Tommy Jew, Will Holland, and Eric Rivera, when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back at White House Field for the top of the 8th inning, Lyle Goldstein joined alongside Chris Lucey, as Tommy Jew set to lead things off for the Harbor Hawks against right-hander Tom Sutera, back out for inning number 3. The right-hander's first pitch to Jew is taken for a strike on a fastball right at the letters. So Sutera up to this point has thrown 2 innings, allowed 1 earned run on 3 hits. Continuing to work from the set. The next pitch to Jew drops down a bunt down the third baseline, but squiggles foul. That'll be strike 2 to the UC Santa Barbara outfielder as he makes his way back to the box. But Tommy Jew reached in his last at bat on what was scored in E5. Looked like it could have been an infield hit, but advanced to second on the wide throw. And then Tommy Jew was stranded at second, as in that 6th inning, the Harbor Hawks left 3 men on base. Eric Rivera came up in that inning with the bases loaded and grounded out to second. FAU product in Rivera set to hit third this inning for the Harbor Hawks, but Tommy Jew is now back into the box, wiggling that bat very rapidly as he always does. From the set, Sutera, the 0-2 pitch, swinging a high pop-up into short center field. Going back on it and to his right is Dani Casals, calling everybody off and makes the catch on the run and over the shoulder, and that'll be out number 1.
Not an easy play for a second baseman to make that one all the way behind the second base bag, all the way in shallow center field. But thankfully for Casals, the lights here in Harwich are high enough so the ball doesn't really get over them, especially that one. So he was able just to keep track of it the entire way over and make a nice backhanded grab.
Will Holland, the Auburn shortstop, set to go for his 4th plate appearance of the night. He's 1 for 2 along with a single and a strikeout. Also walked. That was in his last at bat in the 6th. Second time seeing Sutera as he takes a breaking ball down in the dirt for ball 1. Well, Will Holland, in his season at Auburn, what a fantastic year for the middle infielder, hitting .319 with 12 home runs. Swings at a fastball from Sutera and sends a high pop-up right to Dani Casals at second base, takes a couple of steps to his right, settles under it on the lip of the grass, and puts it away for out number 2. So 2 quick outs, both on pop-ups to the second baseman for the right-hander in Sutera, as he's set to face Eric Rivera.
Both of those flyouts looking like they were about to eat up Casals over there. It looks like the breeze that we're getting down here, just kind of a little left to right action from the wind, is really making the ball do some interesting things up in the night sky.
Eric Rivera, 0 for 1 with a couple of free passes as he takes a fastball for a strike. Florida Atlantic outfielder hitting .191 this summer. His shining moment came early in the year against the Brewster Whitecaps with a 2-hit day, including a walk-off single. He swings at that pitch and sends a ground ball over the first baseman Lipsius, fields it and underhands it to the pitcher in Sutera, covering the bag. And that'll be a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Siena right-hander and Tom Sutera, along with the Harwich Mariners. 4-3 Hyannis, still your score through 7.5 innings. And we'll be back right after this for the bottom of the 8th on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back to Chad Gaspin making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network.
One Mississippi State right-hander comes out and another comes in. Riley Self, set to make his second appearance of the summer for the Harbor Hawks, was just activated this week, and he's set to face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Mariners, starting off with Tennessee first baseman Andre Lipsius, who digs into the right-handed side of the box. Riley Self works from the set. The first pitch to the hitter in Lipsius misses outside for ball 1. O'Reilly Self's lone appearance came back against the Katuitt Kettleers, where he threw an inning of scoreless ball, that coming 2 days ago. The 1-1 to Lipsius, a swing and a foul off behind the fence behind home plate. Lipsius on the day has 1 hit, has reached base twice as he ran on a drop third strike. That was back in the 3rd inning on a wide throw from Pedro Pages, who was at the time catching. And Lipsius would later come around to score. Now the 1-1 from Riley Self, right on the outer half for strike 2.
And you mentioned one Bulldog coming in for another. 2 1/3 innings from Keegan James. Went pretty well. Only 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. No earned runs.
Self ready with the 1-2. A swing and a ground ball up the middle, past the diving front hand of Will Holland and into center field for a base hit. Andre Lipsius on with his second hit of the night, and the leadoff man is aboard for the Harwich Mariners to start the bottom of the 8th. Harwich trails by 1, a 4-3 game here at White House Field. 7th hit of the night for the Mariners in total. And it'll now bring up Dani Casals, the second baseman out of Maine. Dani's yet to record a hit today. Has struck out twice, grounded out to the shortstop. He's got a man on first, and Andre Lipsius, as Self throws over as he steps off the mound, but back safely is the Tennessee first baseman. Well, Dani Casals hitting .263 in his last 10 games, along with a homer, 10 hits, 7 RBIs. Self ready from the set. Casals shows to bunt, taps off his bat, and rolls foul behind home plate. So the Mariners trying to manufacture a run down 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. As a successful sacrifice bunt would put the runner in Lipsius at second and bring up Tanner Morris, who's so far accounted for all 3 runs and has driven in all 3 runs for the Mariners. Coming on a single in the 1st and another RBI base hit in the 3rd. But back to the hitter in Casals, an 0-1 count, drops down to bunt again and sends it foul just out of the left-handed side of the batter's box and onto the infield grass to the right of the first base line. Riley Self's got himself an 0-2 count. Trying to pick up a big win here for the Harbor Hawks, as they're currently tied with the Wareham Gatemen for first place in terms of points with 28. Wareham down the Brewster Whitecaps 4-1 tonight. So Hyannis looking to stay at par with a win. Self now the 0-2. Swinging a foul off the screen behind, or off the first base line. Right in front of us here, down the first base line just a little bit. And the hitter in Dani Casals stays alive with an 0-2 count. Self quickly throws back over to the bag, and back safely is Andre Lipsius. Casals coming off a really solid junior year. Over at Maine, where he hit .302 with 14 home runs as he swings and sends one foul out of play on a line drive down the first base line. So Dani Casals, after squaring down to bunt a couple, fouls 2 straight off. Still an 0-2 count. Davis Wenzel playing just off the line at third. Self with the 0-2, and off speed misses high above the letters. So it was a 3-3 ball game up until the top of the 7th inning when Davis Wenzel tattooed a solo shot out into the trees beyond the wall in left field. Self in a 1-2. The pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3. Taking off for second and getting in easily is Andre Lipsius with no throw. But striking out is the hitter in Dani Casals for the 3rd time tonight. A sombrero for the main second baseman. And there's now one down in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of sombreros out in the Northeast, and Casals playing his college baseball up in Maine, of course, playing some summer ball out here in the Cape, and not a good day for him when you take out that article of clothing.
Chad Gassman makes his way out to the mound. Riley Self's night will be done after just a third of an inning. Gassman looking to play matchups now with the left-handed hitter and Tanner Morris due up and a man on second. We'll be back and have that new reliever for you right after this when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works.
Back to Chad Gassman making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Well, as the scorching hot left-handed hitter Tanner Morris makes his way back into the batter's box in the bottom of the 8th with one out, Chad Gassman counters with left-hander Adam Elliott out of Louisville, set to make his 8th appearance on the summer. Elliott's thrown 11 innings, sporting an 0.81 ERA. He was ready from the set, quickly stepped off the mound. But now back on, looking down Kyle Wilkie to get his sign. He sets right at the belt and checks the runner. First pitch to Morris is in there for a called strike, 0-1 the count. Tanner Morris, 2 for 3 day. 2 singles and a fly out to left. He's got a man on second in Andre Lipsius, who represents the tying run. Elliott, 0-1 pitch to Morris, brushes him off the plate right in his kitchen as the count evens to a ball and a strike. Wind picking up a little bit here at White House Field, as Will Holland giving some attention to the runner and Lipsius at second, playing up the middle. Elliott ready with the 1-1, a breaking ball down in the dirt, chested up by Kyle Wilkie. The count moves to 2-1, no advancement from Lipsius.
Morris likely a familiar face to Elliott, both of them playing their college ball in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Man on deck, another UVA product, so plenty of familiarity for the Louisville Cardinal out there on the mound.
Morris hit .298 at Virginia this season, had 20 RBIs. Now the pitch from Elliott, a breaking ball in there for strike 2, right on the outside corner. That move from one side of the plate to the other in a hurry, as the count's now even, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The two-way player out of Louisville, just some absolutely filthy breaking stuff. Not going to blow you away with velocity, but will really keep you off balance with what he can move with.
Elliott from the set checks the runner. 2-2 pitch, swinging a high pop-up on the infield. Coming in on it is Will Holland, but calling everybody off is Pedro Pages coming off to his right, and he makes the catch on the run just behind the pitcher's mound for a big out number 2 for the left-hander and Adam Elliott. Morris has recorded all 3 RBIs for the Mariners today, but his second pop-up in as many at-bats sits him down in the bottom of the 8th, and it brings up Nate Eichhoff. Eichhoff, one of 2 left-handed hitters for the Mariners today. And likely the reason Chad Gassman brought in Elliott. With 1 out, he was set to face 2 straight left-handers. First time seeing Eichhoff. The first pitch is an off-speed, misses just down low. Nate Eichhoff hitting just 100 with runners in scoring position and 2 out. Elliott ready from the set. The next pitch to the hitter is down low. Couldn't entice Eichhoff, and that's ball 2. Eichhoff's 0 for 2 with a walk today. 2 punch outs. First time seeing Elliott this summer. Or excuse me, not the first time, but he hasn't recorded a hit versus Elliott this summer. Louisville product from the set. The pitch to Eichhoff, a swing and a miss right through a fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike, 2 outs. Hyannis leading 4-3. But the tying run and Andre Lipsius at second. Go ahead run at the plate in Nate Eichhoff out of Virginia. Adam Elliott gets his sign from Wilkie. Wheels and fires the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Cuts right through it as the hitter in Eichhoff.
Elliott changing speeds there nicely, going from the fastball right to the changeup and completely fooling Eichhoff.
It's been a struggle for Nate Eichhoff this summer. Hitting just 148. 9 hits to his name in 61 plate appearances. 61 at-bats, we should say, as time is called. Eichhoff steps out, and quickly Kyle Wilkie gets to his feet and jogs out to the mound to talk to Adam Elliott. Meeting concludes. Wilkie back behind the plate. Elliott set to go. 2-2 the count, 2 outs, a man on second. Hyannis leading by 1 run. Elliott, the 2-2, swinging a foul back behind home plate and out of play. Adam Elliott having to work for these 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Riley Self out of Mississippi State got the first out, but not before allowing a single to Andre Lipsius, who advanced to second on the strikeout from Dani Casals, but it got away from the catcher and Wilkie a little bit. Elliott ready. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3. He got him. Adam Elliott retires the side here in the bottom of the 8th. A 0 up on the board for the Harwich Mariners for the 5th straight inning. Haven't scored since the 3rd frame, as this score remains 4-3 Harbor Hawks, as Hyannis will come up in the top of the 9th inning, looking to add on to this 1-run lead. Due up for Hyannis in just a moment. Davis Wenzel, Braden Como, and Matthew Barefoot, the top of the lineup, when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Media copyright.
We're back here for the top of the ninth inning at Harwich Field as Davis Wenzel stepping up to the plate for the Harbor Hawks. 4-3 lead for Hyannis as we start the top of the ninth. Wenzel in his last at bat crushed a solo shot off this very right-hander in Tom Sutera, whose first pitch misses down to the Baylor product in Wenzel. That solo home run from Davis put the Harbor Hawks out to a 4-3 lead where we currently sit. Sutera continuing to work from the set. 1-0 to Wenzel as a heater taken up high. Hyannis just 3 outs away for staying at par with the Wareham Gatemen for first place in the Western Division, along with sweeping the Harwich Mariners on the 2018 summer. Sutera kicks and fires the 2-0 pitch. Wenzel checks his swing and sends it foul off the knob of the bat, off the fence slightly down the first base line. Bobo comes out to retrieve it for the Harbor Hawks. Sutera off the mound, looking in toward his dugout. And now back on the mound, 1 foot in front of the other from the set. Glove right at the letters. He comes home with a 2-1 to Wenzel, who swings and sends a low line drive out to short right field. Drifting back on it is Dani Casals, the second baseman, who makes the catch. And that'll be the first out of the inning for Hyannis.
Well, Davis Wenzel picking up a home run and a sacrifice fly amongst 3 other outs by contact. So, you really can't complain for a day that he's had today. Sure, only really 1 hit coming out of a couple of at-bats, but he's been making contact. He's been putting the bat on the ball and doing what the Harbor Hawks are asking of him and being productive and not just wasting outs via the strikeout.
Braden Como steps in, takes the first pitch up high from Sutera. But I don't think there's any way in the world you can complain about what Wenzel's done tonight, because that solo home run put Hyannis out in front in the 7th inning. Como sits with a 1-0 count. Sutera with the pitch. Como swings and grounds it foul off the railing of the third base dugout.
The real question that you beg now, Lyle, is how does Hyannis maintain that 1-run lead if they don't build on it in this inning? Because Dylan Thomas went for the Harbor Hawks yesterday against the Gatemen, and he usually shuts the door for Hyannis.
Yeah, we'll have to see who they counter with in the 9th. It still could very well be Thomas, or Chad Gassman might opt to use another arm. Now the wind's starting to get fairly heavy at White House Field in Harwich. Sutera's ready with the 1-1. A breaking ball catches the corner for strike 2 to Braden Como. Well, Como today, 0 for 3, has a 10-game hitting streak hanging in the balance. Sutera ready with the 1-2. Como swings through it and comes up empty for strike 3. The Rice second baseman strikes out for the second time tonight, and there's 2 down in the top of the 9th inning. So that'll likely put an end to the 10-game hitting streak of Braden Como. But that's not to take anything away from him, who came into the day hitting .352, and he is still having a fantastic summer. You're just simply not going to put up a multi-hit game every night you step to the plate in this league.
No, absolutely not. And Braden Como really impressive over the stretch of that streak. I mean, with 6 multi-hit games over the stretch of the 10-game hit streak.
Matthew Barefoot steps in and swings right through a first pitch off speed from Sutera, and that'll be strike 1. But 6 hits for Como through that hitting streak, and 6 multi-hit games through that hitting streak, and 9 multi-hit games on the summer. Sutera ready with the 0-1 to Barefoot. Breaking ball makes Barefoot turn away for ball 1. Almost broke right back in, but home plate umpire for tonight in Bill Pompa says it just missed off the zone. Barefoot swings at the next pitch and sends it foul up behind home, up and out of play, slightly down the first base line. Campbell product in Barefoot sits with a 1-2 count, vying for his 3rd hit of the night. Has 2 singles along with a walk. And that walk was actually an RBI walk. That came in the 3rd inning on the 3 spot put up by Hyannis. Now Sutera ready with the 1-2 pitch. Misses outside with some off speed. Count runs even to 2-2. Infield playing straight up with 2 outs. And everybody back. Barefoot swings to the 2-2 and fights off another pitch, sending it foul out of play. Barefoot currently hitting .386 on the summer. Came into the day second in the Cape Cod League in terms of batting average, right behind Austin Shenton from the Wareham Gatemen. And now the 2-2 to Barefoot, swung on and missed for strike 3, and that'll do it for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the 9th. A 1-2-3 inning for Tom Sutera, who worked 4 magnificent innings outside the one blip of the home run to Davis Wenzel, has really kept these Harbor Hawk hitters off balance. We'll be back for the bottom of the 9th right after this. Hyannis looking to hold on to a 1-run lead and sweep the Harwich Mariners on the season when we come back on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back to Chad Gassman making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Bottom of the 9th, set to get underway at White House Field, and in for the Harbor Hawks is right-hander Brett Schultz out of the University of Minnesota, set to make his 7th appearance on the summer. He'll face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters of the Harwich Mariners order, starting things off with a pinch hitter for Harwich. And that'll be, we'll get that to you as soon as we can, a left-handed hitter who takes the first pitch upstairs for ball 1. And it looks like it's going to be Brad Debo out of NC State. Debo facing Schultz for the first time tonight. Schultz is 1-0, misses inside for ball 2.
Been a tough season for Debo, batting 172 and 29 at-bats for this Harwich ball club.
He hit .253 at NC State with 14 RBIs, 21 hits. As Schultz from the line, the 2-0 pitch is swung on and fouled up and out of play behind home plate. It's been a little bit of a rough go of it for Schultz, the Minnesota right-hander. His ERA sits at 6.75 on the summer and 9 1/3 innings pitched. Struck out 9 and walked 4. And now ready with the 2-1 pitch to Debo, taken upstairs for ball 3.
Yeah, but Adam Elliott has been outstanding all season long. An ERA beneath 1 and 2/3 of a scoreless inning worked tonight with a strikeout, no hits allowed.
Schultz gets his sign from Wilkie. The 3-1 swinging a ground ball to Davis Wenzel, backhanded at third. The throw on to first across the diamond and in time on a bullet for out number 1. Davis Wenzel taking a couple of steps off to his right, backhands the ball right on the line, and then a beauty of a throw across the diamond to Pedro Pages for a crucial out number 1.
Well, Davis should have a very good talk with Dani Terzer on our post-game show today because he has earned player of the game with the bat and with the glove on that play. Would be a little bit shaky if Hyannis came into this inning with a 1-run lead and gave up a leadoff hit, possibly a double down that line, but Davis Wenzel ripping it out from Brad Devo and then ripping it across the diamond, too, for a nifty play.
So now another pinch hitter for the Harwich Mariners. It'll be Ben Norman, the outfielder out of Iowa, taking the place of Gabe Rivera in the designated hitter spot, who ends his night at 0 for 3. Another left-handed hitter for the Mariners, facing the righty and Schultz. First pitch to the pinch hitter, and Ben Norman swung on and fouled back behind home plate. Ben Norman in the season at Iowa hit .274, 58 hits, 14 of them for extra bases.
203 on the Capes League so far.
Schultz ready with the 0-1 pitch that misses down on an off speed. Right off the home plate umpire, and Bill Pompo looks a little bit shaken up. Kyle Wilkie will grab the ball and walk halfway to the mound to meet his pitcher, Brett Schultz, to go over a couple of things. Maybe the scouting report to the hitter in Ben Norman, who Schultz is seeing for the first time this summer.
Might just be giving Pompa a little breather there, too. He's been beaten up behind home plate today, to say the least.
Joked about it with Pedro Pages a little bit earlier. Kyle Wilkie offers his condolences and his apologies.
Looks like he got a little bit more of a talking to from Pompa there, too, as he's got a smile on his face. Again, the home plate umpire, John, with Wilkie a little bit.
So Ben Norman comes into the day. 12 hits and 59 tries. Schultz now ready. The 1-1 pitch runs outside, and the count now sits at 2 balls and a strike to Ben Norman, who's looking to get on base and spark a 9th-inning rally for the Harwich Mariners, trailing by 1. 4-3 Hyannis. Brett Scholes kicks and fires, comes home with the 2-1, misses high for ball 3. If Norman reaches, it'll turn the lineup over, and Chris Galland will be due up in the leadoff spot for the Mariners. Infield playing back. Wenzel hugging the line at third in a no doubles defense. Brett Schultz with the 3-1 pitch misses high and away for ball 4. Ben Norman jogs down to first with a 1-out walk, and the tying runs aboard for the Harwich Mariners in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Steve Englert's starting to play chess with these pinch hitters and get success with the second one. Free pass over to first base, and now the Harbor Hawks really have to start playing the numbers game themselves and finding their way through this inning with that 1-run lead intact to try and complete that series sweep.
Time's called as Harbor Hawks pitching coach Ray Korn walks out to the mound to talk to his right-hander in Brett Schultz, who's set to face the top of the order. It'll be Chris Galland followed by Matt Gorski, with the runner in Norman on first, who swiped 3 bags this summer. That's second on the team, behind just Zach Watson, who left for Team USA a couple of weeks ago. But everybody from the infield out at the mound. Ray Korn probably offering a couple of signs of encouragement to Brett Scholes out of Minnesota. Scholes with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. He retired Brad Debo on a ground out to third on a nice backhand stab from Davis Wenzel. And then followed that up with a 5-pitch walk to Ben Norman. Brett Schultz in his season at Minnesota, he threw 51 2/3 innings, went 9-0 with a 2.09 ERA, 47 strikeouts on the year to just 24 walks.
Pitching wins championships out here in the Cape, Lyle, and the coaching staff went in, and Schultz, obviously a highly touted recruit for this club, as they needed pitching, and they got a good one in Schultz.
He now works from the set with a man on first. Held on by Pedro Pages. First pitch to Chris Galland is swung on and grounded foul, slightly up the third base line.
And sure, Schultz has undergone his struggles at times this season, but he's facing the best hitters he's ever faced in his career, and it's not like the Big Ten is any slouch. He's seen great hitting before, and he's just making his adjustments now, working with Coach Korn closely.
He led all Gophers relievers in strikeouts this season as he throws over to first, but back safely is Ben Norman. Third lowest ERA among relievers, and also threw the most innings out of anybody in the bullpen. He's got an 0-1 count to the hitter in Chris Galland. Schultz the set. The pitch is a breaking ball missing high for ball 1, and the count now even. Matthew Barefoot, the left fielder, playing way off to his left, slightly in the gap in left center field. Chris Gallen has 1 hit on the day in just 4 tries. Schultz with the 1-1. Gallen swings and sends a high pop-up foul down the first base line and into the stands. Handful of kids will chase after that one. But Schultz now has 2 strikes on the hitter and Chris Gallen out of Boston College. Gallen hitting .228. He's got 18 hits on the Cape League summer. Schultz gets a new ball, makes his way back onto the mound, and now ready as he sets at the belt. Throws over to first, but back safely with no dive is Ben Norman. No tag applied by Pedro Pages. 4-3 game. Harbor Hawks looking to hold on to this 1-run lead as the 1-2 to Gallen is a line drive to the first baseman. Pages makes the snare on the line, attempts to step on the bag, but back by just a half a step is Ben Norman. So the Harbor Hawks almost create a near disastrous situation for the Harwich Mariners on what could have been a line to first and an unassisted double play. But instead it'll just be 1 out as Pages catches the ball on the line right to the left of the first base bag and just misses the opportunity to double play. But more importantly for Schultz, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. He's now set to face Matt Gorski, Indiana center fielder. Schultz ready to go from the set. Breaking ball in there for strike 1. Braden Como, the second baseman, going over a couple of signals, chattering with the rest of the infield. But Brett Schultz looking to slam the door and keep the Harbor Hawks on pace for first place to stay into a tie with the Wareham Gatemen. The 0-1 from Schultz. Another off-speed pitch, catches the corner and breaks right at the knees for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to the go-ahead run and the winning run in Matt Gorski in the bottom of the 9th with a man on first. But Schultz just a strike away from picking up the 4th win of the year against the Mariners. He throws over to first, back safely is Ben Norman. Schultz back onto the mound. Stares down Wilkie for the sign. He gets it. Sets at the belt. 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball up high for ball 1. Brett Schultz has 1 save on the summer. Looking to pick up number 2 with just 1 more strike. 1-2 count to Matt Gorski. Schultz ready. From the set. The 1-2 pitch, swinging a pop-up just out of play here on the left side, or the right side, excuse me, stays in play. Wilkie couldn't quite catch up with it. And Matt Gorski, the Indiana center fielder, gains a new life. Wind might have taken that one back into the field of play a little bit. It looked like it was going to sail out. Wilkie didn't give much chase to it, but landed right on the sand, right in front of the fence here behind home plate, right in front of us.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get myself a souvenir there, Lyle. I was ready to spring into action.
Schultz gets a new ball, a 1-2 count. Man on first, 4-3 ball game in favor of Hyannis. The Minnesota right-hander ready from the set. The 1-2 pitch, called strike 3, and that'll do it. Harbor Hawks sweep the Mariners on the 2018 summer, pick up a win here at White House Field, and stay up to par with the Wareham Gatemen, as the Harbor Hawks now have 30 points on the summer and move to a record of 14-8-2.
Well, nothing for Hyannis to be about this win, but proud. A hard-fought, earned win for this Harbor Hawks ball club, and a lot of it courtesy of Davis Wenzel. I mean, with the glove and with the bat, he really did it all for the Harbor Hawks, hitting that go-ahead home run in the top of the 7th inning, and then also snaring that liner down the third base line in the top of the 9th. You get a leadoff hit, especially a big one in the top of the 9th. That can really shake a pitcher's confidence, especially a guy in Schultz who has been roughed up a good deal over the Cape League season. So Davis Wenzel not only putting the Harbor Hawks out front, but keeping them out front. You really can't say enough about his effort today.
And speaking of efforts, because Wenzel, of course, really putting the Harbor Hawks on his back, both on defense and at the plate with that solo shot. But how about the bullpen? We've said it what feels like a million times this summer, but a scoreless outing from the bullpen combined after Jeremy Randolph went 4 2/3 innings, giving up 2 earned runs, 3 runs total on 5 hits, and 9 strikeouts. The bullpen comes in and doesn't allow a run to Harwich for the remainder of the ball game, putting up 6 straight scoreless frames to keep their lead and pick up a 4-3 win. Keegan James, 2 1/3 scoreless innings. Riley Self, a third of an inning scoreless. Adam Elliott gets 2 big outs in the bottom of the 8th with a man on, and then Brett Scholes comes in to slam the door in the 9th.
I mean, you talk about the bullpen throwing a scoreless game. How's about only a 1-walk game from this bullpen? Only 1 walk to go between the 4 pitchers, and then you count that up with 6 strikeouts out of the bullpen from the Harbor Hawks as well. An efficient game, a well-earned win for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, taking a 4-game sweep over the second-place team in the Eastern Division out here at White House Field. I mean, this is a team that's no slouch. They don't trail they trail YD by a pretty good margin, but still, this is going to be a team that Hyannis very easily could see later down the road. They have the talent to be at the top of their division right now, and Hyannis countering in their division with second place right now, or first place tied with Wareham right now. So it's tough to cast a vision that far down the road as Hyannis making a deep playoff run, but right now, confidence is at an all-time high for this ball club. They have the talent, and right now, they just need to keep on putting it together. They put it together tonight to lock down this 4-3 win.
4-3, your final score here at White House Field. The Harbor Hawks sweep the Mariners 4-0 in this 2018 summer. We'll turn it over to the postgame show in just a moment to Robert Marcello, but the final lines here tonight: Hyannis, 4 runs on 5 hits, 1 error, and 8 men left on base. The Mariners, 3 runs on 7 hits, 4 errors, and 8 men left on base. That'll do it for us here on the broadcast. Lyle Goldstein alongside Chris Lucey. We'll turn it over to Robert Marcello just after this here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Hello, here on the post-game show. I'm Robert Marcello, going to talk to you about the game today. A great game. Davis Wenzel with a big home run to be able to send this one as a win on the road for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Quickly going to go around some league scores. A final NYD as they drop to the Falmouth Commodores 6-3. In the top of the 7th, Bourne is currently up 6-3 to Katuitt. In the bottom of the 7th, still up 1-0 is the Wareham Gatemen. Final here in Harwich is 4-3. In on the top of the 6th, the Orleans Firebirds are beating Chatham 3-2. That's going to do it all here on the post-game show. I'm Robert Marcello. A final here from Harwich, 4-3. Everyone enjoy the rest of their night.